Hello. How is everyone? And we seem to be okay. Hello, everybody. And let's do this. And here we are live once again for another show. And always nice to have all of you here. And this is the Shortwave Radio live show, of course, because we're Friday, and Friday at 2000 hours Universal Time means radio time on YouTube Live, thanks to my show. Hope everybody's going to enjoy today's show, and it's one of those great little moments that it's always fun to be there live, and hopefully things will work out right tonight. So hey, welcome. This is a show about radio, about shortwave radio, about everything radio, and it is every Fridays at 2000 hours Universal Time. That is 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and hopefully you are going to have a good time. We're going to look at some signals, some interesting stuff, and maybe share some unusual things that people hear, tune the bands, and just have a lot of fun, hopefully today, with a ton of people that are fantastic. And yes, tomorrow there is another show. This is the weekend where we have a double show. We have Shortwave show tomorrow, Saturday. Tomorrow's show will be about software-defined receivers. We're going to talk about SDRs, try to educate people. I get a lot of requests of people that just don't quite understand what SDRs are all about. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Today we're going to kind of do a mix of signals. I maybe want to go back a little bit in time, talk about some of the old broadcasters and our favorite stations of a long time ago, or even today, for those that haven't been there for a long time. And it's, of course, always fun to have all of you here. And for those that listen to the International Radio Report, I will be part of the team with Sheldon and David at the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM. Sunday morning, 14:30 UTC, I will be on the radio show. We're going to talk about, of course, everything radio. And I'm going to try to be there every 2 weeks. So I think it's going to be cool. And hope that everybody is having a lot of fun. It's really cold in Montreal compared to what it should be. We should be in the 50s. And around, plus 10 or a little more in Celsius. We barely get above zero. And actually, last night or the night before was like minus 12. Which is, 10 Fahrenheit? It was cold. And it's supposed to be so much warmer. And we're supposed to have a couple of inches of snow today and tomorrow. Which is, whoa. Will that winter eventually go away? We're starting to wonder if there's going to be a summer this year. So anyways, nice to have everybody on board. And hope you enjoy the show. Of course, I have my beer, which is Fin du Monde. So it's the usual, the end of the world beer. And I had a good laugh because it was a new cashier at the store, at the grocery store. And she looked at the beer and she said, "Really? There's a beer called Fin du Monde?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. It's great beer." And I kind of told her as a joke. It says the reason they call it, end of the world or Fin du Monde is because when you drink all six, you're pretty much gone. So cheers, everybody. And nice to have all of you here on board. So we're going to say hello to the chat room. And by the way, when you join the show, fantastic chat room with great people. So why not join in and have fun with everybody else? I mean, we're here for that, and that's what we want. So, Chris Freitas, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have you on board. MDK2, nice to have you here. Ray Kelly, hello there. David Arden, Daxfar74, nice to have you here. I just saw something and by the way, I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Gilles. I don't say it enough, apparently. So maybe I should say it every hour or something like that. Because we have newbies all the time. We have people that join in for the first time. We have the silent crowd also, because if you notice, we're a certain number of people in the chat room. But when you look at the number of people in the chat versus the number of people watching, there's a silent, there's really some silent people out there. And of course, some of them are new to the hobby, or curious about what shortwave radio is all about. So we're here for that. And if you have a Gmail account, you can join in the chat room. Don't hesitate. It's cool, and people are great. I mean, they're really, really cool. And we're here to help each other, pretty much. Driver Film Shortwave, David Arden, NDK2 says, that beer can be had here in Denver. That tells me it's kind of a big deal. Huh. She should know about that. Yeah, That's like my local cashier not knowing what Fat Tire beer is. Yeah, but, we have a lot of, she was of, I would say Middle Eastern, probably from Algeria, Morocco. And she was new at the store there. And what I noticed is that type of beer is almost only, like the French Quebecois guys that pretty much know about it. And when you look at the communities, they often look at it. And it's not the first time that I've been asked about, oh, really, there's a beer that's called that. And also all the time it's, communities that weren't born here that look at it and it's like, oh, okay. And, some of them don't drink alcohol, so they just look at it. It's like, oh, okay, really? There's a end of the world beer? So anyways, Ray Kelly, nice to have you here. Expecting snow tonight. So David Arden, 22 Celsius in Atlanta. That's go outside with your portable radio kind of weather. So Daxfar74, hello there. MDK2 says, drizzly, almost snowy day. So, Ralph Bender, hello there. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you here. Mad Radio DXer, nice to have you on board. iMapper from Moscow, pretty cool. Chris Freitas is from Memphis. Yeah, no problem, Bobby. I do understand that sometimes we have other things to do. And we'll be back tomorrow anyway, so if you're around tomorrow, don't hesitate to come over and say hi. Two Hands on the Radio, hey there, nice to have you here. We have, anybody that doesn't say hi? Jerry DX, hello there. Donald Hosner, nice to have you here. Jerome's too, nice to have you here. Ricardo Arturo Mares, nice to have you here. Thank God it's Friday, yeah. Tudo Channel, hey, nice to have you here. David Arden, hello there. What is G. Britton, nice to have you here. PLF Radio in France, Richard Cook in the UK. We have anybody else that haven't said hi, please say hi. I don't want to miss out on anyone. It's always nice to have everybody here. What else do we have? Hotel in Mexico, nice to have you on board. 9K2HM, amateur radio call sign, cool. Gaza East Anglia, nice to have you here. Gordon Treadwell, VE6GPT, Andrew in Alberta, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. And ID yourself every 10 minutes like hams have to do, yeah. Well, this is officially the, it would be one of those FCC type things, like, well, now if you do a podcast on the internet, you got to ID every 15 minutes now. Donald Hosner says, Phillips Brewing from British Columbia, Canada, Marcus, a shortwave. Yes, I did see it. I did see it. The problem is I can't get a hold of one. I would love to have some shortwave beer. I've seen it, and we've talked about it. There was a guy that was going out west that was possibly, helping out and getting some, but it never worked out. I would love to have some shortwave beer. I want to try that beer. It'd be perfect for this show, absolutely. I can tell you that. So, Gordon Treadwell listens to shortwave on his receiver at Kenwood TS 520. Pretty cool. Rock Ristorante from Sweden. Nice to have you on board. SM0SBT. I totally love the fact that we have more and more amateur radio operators that are joining in. It's really cool. It's really, really a lot of fun to see all of you on board. And really, really, really nice to have new faces, new names. Hey, Zach Hentel. Nice to have you on board, of course. Ingmar Klenhart, hello there. Nice to have you on board. Southern Illinois San. How is the XH Data radio doing? Well, you know what? We're going to talk about it. It's part of what I want to do today. Do a short review right here on this show of this XH Data D38, which is a very intriguing and very peculiar radio. Especially, I don't know if you guys can see it, but just look at the display. I haven't seen a display like this in ages. I mean, old radios had these LED displays. This is so weird. So anyways, we're going to talk about this a little later in the show. So if you guys want to see what it's all about, it's going to be a part of the show today. Mike DX, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Richard Cook, what time does Radio Vancouver finish normally on 6,000? I think it's like 05 or 0600. They have like really many hours on that frequency in the evening here. And it's interesting, 6165 has been coming in really, really well, and actually much better than 6,000 up here in Montreal in the past week. So it's kind of interesting. K3DY DXing. Hey Antoine, nice to have you here from the flight deck in LaGuardia Airport, waiting on passengers. Little time for live shows. Maybe I should delay the flight until the end of the show. That would be something, it's like I would see in the news a flight was delayed at LaGuardia Airport because of the, the pilot or, looking at or listening to a shortwave podcast and no, we're not going anywhere until that show is done. So nice to have you on board. Well, we're going to stop the plane here. Tell the pilot, tell everybody. I imagine all the passengers there is like, we're sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we have a slight delay because of the official shortwave channel and a podcast on the internet. Oh, God. And, you know what, Richard? They Radio Vancouver on 6000 is behaving all sorts of weird ways. And because they're not officially, they don't give officially their schedules and frequencies to the HFCC, they gotta do pretty much what they want. And so they can, switch it on or off almost anywhere. So, Mark Carson, hello there. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. William Helms, hey. How are you, my friend from Florida? Mark Carson, where are you located? Don't hesitate to say where you are when you join in. It's fun to have everybody and know where everybody is. Wooden Nickel, nice to have you here from Southeast Illinois. KC9RHH checking in. Local Amfest tomorrow. That's a great time to get radios and all sorts of goodies for cheap. So I hope you have fun with that Hamfest tomorrow. Yes, Bobby. It doesn't display the last digit when it's a 0, but if and we're going to try to put one here. So let me just... Oh, that's an interesting one. No, I thought, but... Oh, no. it doesn't have the it does not have the display, the last display digit. You're right. So I cannot display either a 0 or a 5. This is weird. But then again, you'll know when I talk to you about how some of the aspects of this radio are kind of crappy and some are kind of interesting. So it's really, and I when you're about to sneeze but it doesn't happen, I'm at that moment right now, and I'm talking and I'm at the same time in the middle of, will I sneeze or not while I talk? Paul the cat is behind the camera sleeping like a baby. There's a female cat outside that's meowing all night. And Paul the cat spent all night outside. Usually he sleeps in and in the bed with me. But yesterday, no, he wanted to be out. There was this female cat, and he is neutered and everything, but I don't know. I guess he's curious or something. And, other cats were probably around. So he spent the night outside. I think he came in maybe in the middle of the night. I woke up to pee, and I looked outside. He was there. He went to eat, and he asked me for the door again. He was just going to go out again. So it's like, okay, have fun. God. So, MDK2 just put on the phone because some work to do. That's cool. And, oh wow, the show is perfectly synchronized. Yeah, that's kind of it doesn't happen that often. Usually there's always a little delay between, the different devices. Oxford Shortwave Log. Hey there, nice to have you here. It's really nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. TOT, nice to have you here. And it's really nice to have you on board. Don't worry, I won't yell at anybody that doesn't make it in time. It's, I totally understand why, things are the way they are. JB, hello there, from Byron, Illinois. Let me just go back a little bit. So, N9IIF XH data, $20, having a good sound and vintage display. Yeah, around $20, and it's surprising, but there's a lot of kind of bad things also with it. But it's kind of fun to play with, anyways. It's always fun to play with a radio, unless it's really crappy. Like you got a couple of one here that they're so crappy that you're like, when you buy a new radio, you always, even if it's $20. We kind of expect a minimum for $20. And of course, you don't expect to have one of the greatest radios in the world, but you expect it to receive something. I have a couple of radios here that some were more expensive than that are deaf. It's like, wow, that thing doesn't get anything. But you know what? It's really something that is kind of a bare minimum. And the bar is raised with some of the radios today, like the TVDO V115. I mean, when you look at that, it's a $20 radio, and all it does, you're like, wow, I can't believe you can do that with $20. I mean, wow, just crazy. So those small radios raise the bar, but also what they do is raise the bar for more expensive radios also, because you're telling yourself, well, if that $20 radio can get that $100 radio better kick butt, because I mean, it's much more expensive and should do much more for the money that I paid for. But as David Arden says, Tio, nobody will yell at you here. We're not here for that, and those that yell usually get kicked out quite rapidly. So it's just the way we are. Great people. David Williamson, please share a link or your email so that I can contact you directly. Official Shortwave Radio at gmail.com. Official. Okay, I got that. Darn. So it's quite easy. Official Shortwave Radio at gmail.com. Can somebody just put the email? Because I can't write. I'm using Firefox on Linux here, and there's always that damn problem that the chat room, I can't write in it from time to time. That's happening right now. So if somebody can just share my email, official Shortwave Radio at gmail.com. And by the way, if you want to have advanced notification, if you have questions, if you have anything, you want to donate a radio, just contact me. I'll be happy to find a home for that beautiful radio that you might not want anymore. So welcome aboard, KA6SWL. Nice to have you on board. And he's sharing the schedule of Radio Havana, Cuba. But you know, it's not a fixed schedule. They often mess around with their schedules, honestly. So you know, it's kind of one of those things. Jerry DX says no banner talking on 27025. So anything? Let's just check if there's some sporadic e-skip, just out of curiosity here. 27025. Nothing happening here on the sporadic e-skip or in the upper bands right now. So what else do we have? Rock Restaurant on Shell. It's very difficult to hear Radio Havana, Cuba here in Sweden. Any idea what frequency I should try? Well, I know that 15140, that is, I believe, on right now. So 15140 is in French right now, but I believe before the French, I think, they have English. So it would be at, what, 1900 hours they have English? 15140, but I believe this is pointing in the west part of North America, so it might not make it to Sweden necessarily, but you could try that frequency right now if you hear something in French. You know, I know it's late because you're in Sweden, so it means, you know, the North American broadcast on 6000 and 6165, smack in the middle of the night for you. They have a few frequencies for Europe. Let me just check that out. We're gonna check out Radio Havana, Cuba for Europe. Primetime shortwave is maybe a good place to check out. So, shortwave schedule by country, and let's look at Cuba. So Cuba. I would try. So they have a. Well, does Radio Havana, Cuba have a transmission in English towards Europe? There doesn't seem to be one here. Kind of interesting. So, what would be the best frequency? Yeah, 20 to 21, but we are 20 now. And it's in French. So I guess it's maybe 19 or something, or they changed. It's supposed to be in English now, but it's French, because I hear it in French. So this would be probably your best bet, 15140. That's interesting. I always thought Radio Havana, Cuba had a transmission towards Europe. And they don't seem to. Right now, at least. Huh, interesting. So, but, you know, North American ones, but they're smack in the middle of the night for Sweden. I guess your best bet is 15140 right now. Maybe Richard Cook in the UK, that I know logs Cuba regularly, might give you some details of, for Europe, what's easier to listen to. Mark Carson say, hey, it's KM6NHH from Ocala, California, grid CM89. Getting dumped on with rain today. Hope to escape the drought this year. Just bought a Magic Wand shortwave antenna off eBay. Well, you know what? You should come back and let us know when you get it how well it performs. And you know what? It's okay that you're getting dumped on rain. There's a lot of drought in the California area in recent year or so. So maybe, you know, all that rain isn't bad at all, I guess, for you guys. Big Stack 171, hello there from Ottawa. Nice to have you here. Zach Antle says, learn a cool trick. Look at what color the veins in your wrist are, and it will tell you what to wear warm or cool colors. Oh, really? Okay. Didn't know that. Matt NM9H from St. Louis, Missouri. Nice to have you here. Crooked Ninja 5. Hello there. And always cool to have everybody here. Coming down the chat, I'm a little far, so I'm going to be there. What do we have? What do we have? Yeah, 15490 KA6SWL says could be BBC in Hausa from Ascension Islands, possibly. I believe I heard it the other day. 15490. Not hearing much, but yeah, there is a signal definitely there. But it's very weak for me. So it seems to be BBC. Possibly. What else do we have? 6-second delay, says Bobby Burgess. Blanchard 3, nice to have you on board. XH data it's kind of a mix, you know. I wonder sometimes if it's not kind of a Texan byproduct or something. Kind of weird. Hey, VA2XMX Petro, nice to have you on board. And yeah, it's the Easter is different from I think it's Orthodox Easter, which is different from the Christian or Catholic Easter or something. Driver Film Shortwave, what's the cheapest radio I got? In terms of price paid, I have I need to find it. I have but I believe it's a $9 radio. The cheapest I've ever seen. And when I say $9, that's brand new, not a used radio. So in terms of price, I have one here that's like $9. I've got several that are in the sub $20 range. And then of course it goes up quite rapidly, you know, in the 20s, 30s, 40s, $50, up to of course these several $1,000 radio back there. But you gotta remember, I have one that's like $9. And probably the reason I never talk about it is the crappiest thing that you can ever get. And it's like, apart from the fact that it looks from a radio, it looks like a radio, it doesn't really work well. You know, it even has problem receiving local AM stations. It gives you an idea of how crappy it is. But you know, I have this weird thing going on that when there's a radio in my face and it's cheap, I just gotta get it. You know, anything below $50 kind of tingles my radio bone. It's like, you know, oh, that thing is $30. Oh, it gets shortwave. Huh. I don't have it. I want it. And you know, usually if you put a radio in my face that's below 50, I probably will get it. You know. So, but it's all in the spirit of also trying to find something that's not too expensive, but that's really, really good. We gotta say. Juan Amigo, nice to have you on board from Barcelona. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Mark Carson says, yeah, the next V115 should have SSB, so every other more expensive radio has to come with it. You know, that would be fun, Mark Carson. Have a TVDO V115, or, you know, like a TVDO V120 with SSB for $25. Anybody that could put single sideband on a radio like that for $25. Maybe that is something I should send to that company and say, hey, can you come up with a single sideband receiver for $25? I would be the first to buy it, because we have to check it out for sure. Bobby says, at local discount store I can get shortwave radio for $13 US. You know what? One thing that I don't do, and I should actually do, because there's a discount store. Actually, it's a I don't know if that discount store is the same type of store, but it's a store where people go and, sell whatever they have. It's not a pawn shop. It's really like it's really a discount type store, and they have like used clothes, but that is still wearable for very cheap, and they have a department there that has electronics. And a friend of mine was telling me that he goes there every week to look at the electronics department, because there's tons of things that show up there for like pennies. It's like he got a Commodore 128 for like $5. He got an old monitor. He got old game consoles for $5 or $10. And he's telling me all the time, he said, man, you should go there every week and check out the electronics department. You can be surprised what you'll get from time to time. So the reason I don't go is because it's in an awkward place. One of those places where it's kind of complicated. I don't have a car because I do everything in bus and subway here. So that store, where it's located, it's kind of a pain in the butt to go through with the bus. So I don't go there because it's a pain in the butt to just go there. But he always tells me, man, you should go. You are missing out on tons of things. And sometimes I'm thinking maybe I'm missing out on, shortwave radios or stuff that I could really get for cheap that people just dump there. So maybe I should, I can tell you that. Thanks, Mark Carson, for sharing the official Shortwave Radio at gmail.com email. Really nice. But I gotta check it out, 98, 95, poor audio, and it's possibly Radio Cairo. Let's check it out. Oh, it's in French. It's in French, Radio Cairo in French, and it's actually the best audio I've had in years in French from Radio Cairo. I could almost do a reception report and send them and say, hey, I was listening to your broadcast in French, which I should. I haven't written to Radio Cairo in ages. They probably still QSL and everything. Exiting the Xer, Keegan, nice to have you here from Northwest Arkansas, Southern Illinois. And are you going to try to put the VHF antenna back on the roof? Well, it is on the roof. It's the coax cable that's broken somewhere. And I did fiddle with it a little bit, but we had such bad weather in the past week that I just didn't go outside to fix it. I wanted to fix it on Sunday night. It started snowing, and I waited like Monday. I wasn't home. Tuesday, forget it. Tuesday it was like hell. It was snow, ice, and everything. So I haven't got time to fix it yet. And I need to do it. I need to fix it also. So it's going to soon be back for sure. David Williamson, my cat is in my shack right now. He's sleeping on the chair just behind the camera and sleeping like a baby. So, yep, he does. My DX news I have is that HARP is back on from Friday. Yeah, there's HARP, and thanks for mentioning it, because I might have forgotten to mention it, but if you guys follow Chris Fallen from his Twitter page, HARP, the Alaska experiment, if you want, is back on and it's broadcasting it between the 2, 3, 4, 5 megahertz range. So it's they're starting to do some tests again. So that's going to be interesting to see what frequencies and what they do. But the best to follow is Chris Fallen, and I think it's C Fallen. Let me just check out here. On Twitter, I got the guy. So, see Fallen Twitter. And he's a guy from Harp. And you can have all the information. And he actually posts all the information about the frequencies and the modes and the things they do. So it's really interesting to check it out. Kangaroo King VA3DLO, nice to have you here. He's in 10 meters, 28,400. Wow. Is 10 meters open in your neck of the woods? I can tell you that. What else do we have? So okay, I'm coming down. I'm really far in the chat room, guys, so please hang in there. Hang in there. No, I do not have a Barlow Wadley radio, David Williamson. What is there? What is there? Adesh Manmar Rakimsoon from Trinidad in the Caribbean. Nice. Cool to see people from everywhere. So VA3 DLO, Windsor, Ontario, monitoring 28,400 upper sideband. Okay, Don, let's just go there, 28,400, and see if there's anything coming up. Yeah, this neck of the wood, but 10 meters seems to be rather dead. And look at these nice interference, beautiful lines in my display. The SAS Live, nice to have you here. And pretty cool to have you on board. Yes, shortwave is kind of independence of the internet. Nice to have. Hi, Cholakov Ivan. Hello there. Nice to have you here. If I miss out on anyone, please say hello. Oh. Yeah, that would. Okay, in English, Radio Havana, Cuba, 11860 for Europe would cover Sweden absolutely, 21 to 23. But that's in Spanish or English? I'm curious. Let me just. I'm very curious about that. I'm gonna check out 11860. So 11860 would give me. What the hell is happening here? 11860. And well, my computer is kind of slow. Here we go. Okay. On 11860, I don't have Cuba on my list here on 11860. That's interesting. Where are you getting that schedule from? Two Ends of the Radio. I don't have Cuba on 11860 at all. Huh. That is interesting. Huh. Oxford Shortwave Log says you can buy a World Man radio in Tesco's for £8. I've copied North Korea on mine. Wow. Cool. V2XMX, Asia question for VHF UHF scanning. What radio do you recommend? You know what? Okay. It depends how much money you've got to spend. Okay. If you don't have a lot of money, I'm almost, I think the best is almost just have fun and use one of those RTL dongles. I don't know if we've got one here. I'm trying to see, but mine is not here right now. Get one of these RTL SDR dongles. It's cheap and it's going to do what you want. But that said, and I just knocked the camera a little bit. Sorry, guys. It's okay. But if you want to have something really good and really cool, and I can tell you, Fastlow that's in the chat room sometimes talks about it. The TRX1 by what's the name of that company? Whistler. The Whistler TRX1 is the best. Probably one of the best you can buy. It actually decodes many digital modes, and you'll be able to follow a lot of services, especially here in Montreal, He listens to tons of different services thanks to that scanner. So it depends what you want. If you're looking for something more of, affordable, you know what? Today, I almost would buy a used scanner. If you want to have a portable scanner that just does regular scanner stuff, no digital stuff, buy a used scanner. I would not invest $200 or $300 in a regular scanner today at all. I can tell you that. Giuseppe Schiapoli, nice to have you here from Napoli, Italy. Nice to have you here. I8 WCU, pretty cool. Rock Ristorante. Thanks for your answer, Gilles. Nothing on 15140, but according to the schedule, it transmits north 340 degrees. Yeah, it is towards the west coast of North America. Richard Cook's receiving Vatican Radio on 9670. I heard them the other day, by the way. Jerome stood to SSB for 20 would be insane. Absolutely. Oh, God. Ivan says XH data 808 SSB with FMRDS $79 delivered from China. You know what? I am unable to get one below $170 or $180. I have not found any place where I can order one for $79. Because I wanted to order one and do a review here and have it on the channel. But I haven't had any luck in getting one below about $160, $170 Canadian, which is crazy. And it's a nice radio, but I would not pay that for that radio. So, what else do we have? Oh, yeah, absolutely, Yvonne. That's true. Those stores do have tape deck stacks. The last time I went there, I think they had like 30 different boom boxes for the 80s, 90s, and they had tons of tape decks also. Absolutely. So, what else do we have? The Extending the Extra Keegan, 98.95 is S1, S2 at times. What else do we have? Radio Caro, very strong and clear PLF radio in France. I'm amazed that I'm just gonna go back here, but I was able to actually understand what she was saying on that transmission earlier. It's distorted, but strong enough to actually make out, honestly. TOT, that would be such a cool video showing us how you fix the coax, your outdoor antenna, etc. Oh yeah, that is absolutely a good idea, honestly. And you are right, I should do a video on that for sure. What else do we have? Okay, going down. It says PLF radio, maybe Radio Cairo is better modulation or something else. Yeah, sometimes it is better. Yvonne says, not sure if you've seen this, the receiving loop for W6LVP, portable version is now $200. Yeah, I need to check that out and have one for sure. Oh, thanks Driver Film Shortwave for the ARP. It's CT Fallen. So you got to follow him on Twitter on CT Fallen. And you got all the latest info on HARP. Thanks, guys, for sharing it on the chat. Jerry, no, because you know what? I wasn't home Saturday. I wasn't home Sunday, and I wasn't home Monday either. And so, on Tuesday, I was really busy. The times I was there, I just didn't, and my antenna was not working. I would have had to take one of my portable scanners and everything. And anyway, no time. I didn't have the time, so I was not able to. I did not have the time to try it out. Ralph Bender says Polish number station PB03B on 4505 USB now. Cool. That's much more for Europe, but yeah, What else is there? SWL60N. Nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. to have everybody here. Richard Coy's got 4505 strong. Bill Mead from Pennsylvania. Hello there. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have everybody on board, and it's always nice. Fair Signal Radio Romania International on 13650. Let's check it out. 13650. Am I hearing anything? I think it's 11 and 11850. The other one, I think, is their one they're using.
Differs from one area to
11850 also is Radio Romania, I believe. And
tools like the rake, shovel, or solar motors, rosettes, or crosses are also depicted on the Easter eggs. There is a wide
I'm trying to get the guy,
in the Christian world.
the cat, to come up.
Virgin Mary was carrying a basket full of white eggs when she met an atheist.
He doesn't want to come up.
She said to him, Christ is risen. I said, I believe in your direction.
So 11850 is another frequency for Radio Romania right now. And here we have Mr. Cat. So here's Mr. Cat. I look in slow motion. Am I in kind of slow motion for you guys? I look in slow motion. Something's weird. I'm just gonna lower the load on my laptop. So anyways, here's Mr. Cat saying hi to everybody and looking at female cats doing meow meow in the backyard all night. So he's saying hello to everybody. Paul the cat or DX the cat, depending on when you noticed he was here. So Mr. Paul saying hello to everybody. So okay, what else? Let's go down. Got the keyboard in one hand, the cat on the other one. What is there here? So you got an email with the frequencies. That's the problem with Radio Havana Cuba, since they don't actually go into the schedule season. They don't go to the HFCC. We don't always know when it's when they where and how they transmit or something. So what else is there? Denny, Shortwave Radio DX. Hello there. Nice to have you here. Anything else? Something Illinois Sense saying Ralph Stair is sounding as cocky as ever during the Passover. Brother Stair is like really, and he's on all the frequencies, I can tell you that. Thailand on 9390, says Richard Cook. Pretty cool. Ivan 2 weeks ago got a Stangian 909 for $84. Not bad. PLF Radio, do you think the weather will get better for you in order to do some shortwave videos on Perry Island? Not before at least a month's time, honestly. Not before at least a month's time. I don't think it's going to be warm enough, and the weather be good enough. And there's this transition period also, where even though it's nice, because all the snow melted, the Perry Island looks more like a mud. It's Mud Island and not Perry Island for like about maybe 2 or 3 weeks before all the water dries up and it gets back to the grass. So I always wait. I think the earliest I've been, I was looking at Perry Island videos on my channel, and 2 years ago I was there. I think it was like May the 6th. It was the earliest ever I've been to Perry Island, May the 6th. And it was like 22 degrees Celsius, around 70 Fahrenheit. I don't think I'll be there before the month of May. But I have told myself one thing, is that if we get just enough nice weather, 10, 12, 14 degrees Celsius in the next few weeks, I will go to the local park right here and bring my fold-up chair and do some listening from the local park, for sure. So, Southern Illinois Sense says Harp will make the weather better. Stop believing in these things. 3830 Radio Man, nice to have you here from California. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, there was kind of a slight slow motion weird thing happening. So, there's something weird, but, now I look and it looks better. So I guess it might be better. If the video and audio are not matched, David Arden, just to refresh. It's usually more of what's happening in your hand than mine, because here it should be okay, I would guess. So, my laptop is in its last streams, because I gotta buy a new one. It's or buy a better encoder. One of the things somebody told me to look at is OBS Studio for live streaming. It takes less of the CPU load, because Wirecast Play is dreadful. It takes such a high load on my computer that I almost can do nothing else than just stream. And the computer is kind of it's a 5-year-old computer, but it's a Core i5 that's pretty powerful still. And I gotta maybe I just need a better encoder also. But I'm thinking of getting myself a new laptop this year for sure, much more powerful. Bill K3WDR, nice to have you on board. And Brian Miller, hello there, nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. And we've just touched the 100 viewers, and that's cool. We've pretty much every stream we reach that 100 views and more. It's pretty cool. Judd Simon, KM4UBR, nice to have you on board. No problem if it's a little late. Better late than never, as they say. Rock Ristorante, could you tune, for example, 31 meter band? It would be interesting for us in Europe to see what you can receive at your QTH. Yep, you know what? We will do that. Give me a little bit of time. I'll go through a little chat, and we're gonna, maybe that's one of the fun things we could try today is go through certain, frequency ranges, and I'll tune the signals that I hear there, and you guys can compare. That's one of the fun things that we often do here. So we're gonna do it and check it out, So really nice to have all of you here. What else do we have? Anything else that I've missed? It's okay now. It could be because here I saw because I see the video here on my screen, a small video. And I noticed that when the cat jumped in, I was very, very choppy. Well, now it's actually very fluid, so it's kind of not the same thing. But I need to get something better than Wirecast. It's right now it's going through at like 100% CPU cycle, which is way too much. So my laptop is like really, really working the maximum that it can to do it and do the output for the video. So I need to really get something new or a better I'll need to check out OBS Studio because it might be better and use less of my CPU cycles on this laptop. Because in general, it's pretty fast laptop. It's just that, actually. Yeah, Paul interfering with the stream. Paul is so beautiful, cat, that the stream just lags. Ivan was up in Hawaii a week ago. Wow, lucky bum. I did a few Spectrum captures, but I've not had time to listen to them. Aha, that must be interesting. A few things I want to mention. First of all is I promised, and I am totally in that with Sheldon can be here today, Sheldon Harvey. But I just want to mention one thing. It's the International Canadian International DX Club that has a beautiful bulletin called the Messenger that you can get through your email every month. This is the April edition that was just released this week. It's a very nicely made bulletin, and you'll be part of a club. So you can join the CIDX Club, and it's very, very inexpensive, $10 a year. $25 for 3 years. You're a member of a club, you get this nice, very well-made bulletin. And you can ask for a sample copy, but no tricks here, because apparently some of you have been asking for more than one copy of the sample bulletin. It's one per user. So if you already got one, don't write again, you won't get another one. But if you want to see what the CIDX Club bulletin looks like, never ever did, ask for your sample copy, cidxclub@yahoo.com, cidxclub@yahoo.com, and you ask Sheldon for a sample copy. We'll send you one if you never had one. You can join the club, which is a very nice club. I'm a member of that club, of course. Some of you have joined in the past few weeks. So don't hesitate. There's a lot of cool stuff. Talk about different broadcasting aspects. The AM broadcast band, FM, the DX. There's everything QSL cards, Antarctic and Arctic DXing, amateur radio stuff, hardware, all sorts of unusual things that have anything to do with radio. Nice little articles of radio stuff, broadcast schedules, logs of people, what people were catching on the receivers, pirate radio activity, and so on and so on and so on. It's 59 pages this month. It's a beautiful, well-made, very professionally made bulletin that you get in your email, and the price of $10 a year. $10 a year is like really, really low. $25, even better bargain for 3 years subscription, and it's a great place to be. And you'll be part of a club. You're not just getting a bulletin. You're part of a radio club, which is a Canadian International DS Club. It's not just for Canadians. It's not just for Canada. It's for everybody around the world. So why not check that out? Also, for those of you that listen to the International Radio Report on Sundays at 14:30 UTC, I'm going to be part of the International Radio Report this Sunday. I've kind of been checking my schedule, and I'll be kind of part of the CIDX, the International Radio Report, every 2 weeks. I'll try to be there every 2 weeks. And so I'll have a little section, my little 4 or 5 minute section, where we're going to try to talk about, shortwave radio a little bit, receivers, maybe have a DX, tip or something like that. So I'll be part of the show this coming Sunday, April the 8th, 14:30 UTC. So you will be, you can listen to me and listen to David and Sheldon every week, of course, at 14:30 UTC. It's a great little show for sure. And as I am actually promoting all sorts of stuff, why not promote myself also? If you guys want to help me out, of course, paypal.me/shortwave. You can actually give me a little something. Paypal.me, not .com. That's what a lot of people are mistaken. Donations are accepted, or you can send them at the Yahoo email if it doesn't work on the paypal.me stuff there. And you can, of course, give me a little donation. You can join on Patreon at patreon.com/radio and computers. Join 10 patrons right now and give me a little something every month. And don't hesitate. I take a lot of time doing these shows. I take hours and do hours of shows and for you every week. And it's my job. So basically, I pretty much 80% of my income every month is coming from YouTube. So of course it helps me out tremendously. Yes, I do get this all the time. So, well, YouTube is giving you money. Yeah, but it's not. I'm not going to be a millionaire with the way things are going. That's for sure. And your donations have helped me out tremendously in 2017 when monetization was crappy. It is better now, but it doesn't mean stop the donations. They will help me buy a new laptop, for example, or change the camera if it breaks, or a couple of months back, my hard drive failed. I had to replace it. It's, I got to spend some money for that. Well, your donations help for that, and they are very welcome. And I want to thank everybody that have donated. And if you're the first time watching the show and you like what or maybe you've been watching for a while, why not think about it and do a little donation? And by the way, because I got a few people that said, well, you know what, I'm not, I'm not on PayPal, and I'm afraid to do donations through, any online things. Drop me a line at officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com, and by the way, donations are accepted also in hardware form. That means you got a radio you don't want anymore, you got a radio you want me to, review, and instead of money you want to donate in the radio form, absolutely, it's totally accepted, and I'll be happy. We got the ephedrine I'm using here, the SDR. We had quite a few little things, the CountyCom GP5s that I got donated from CountyCom in California. Why not? If you are anywhere in the radio sphere and you can, send me a sample of radio or anything, please do so. Totally accepted. And I'll be happy to talk about those on my YouTube channel and live on the shows. Thank you, everybody that have donated. It's much appreciated. And now I'm going to stop annoying you guys with donations. That was something. Okay, we're 1 hour into the show already, which is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Time flies when we do these shows. And what else do we have? So, thanks, Judge Simon, and for sharing the CIDX. Yvonne has joined the CIDX club. Pretty cool. It's a very nice. And Rob Bender says, that reminds me of something. I received a sample from Sheldon. Go check that out. Something on the sign. Do you get a sticker for joining CIDX? No. Because, everything is kind of by email. It's an electronic publication. But you used to get, we used to get things back in when the bulletin was a paper bulletin. Bobby Burgess, take care. Nice to have you here. And it's always nice to have you on board. K6YYL. Nice to have you on board, Kimberly. We're waiting for the snow here. It's still not arrived. Oh, yeah, it is. It's starting to snow. As I was mentioning, snow has not arrived. Yes, it has. It's starting to snow right now. So I guess a little later, if you're still there, Kimberly, I'll show you the falling snow in Montreal, as we're going to have a couple of inches. Thank you, Jed Simon, for sharing. It's much appreciated. Very, very cool. Thank you. Cuban Lady should be on 11635 right now. Let's check that out. 11635. And I'm not getting... There is a signal there, but I'm not getting anything. Driver, film shortwave, YouTube is rubbish if you don't meet the partner program requirements. Yeah, YouTube is one of a kind, It's not always easy, and it's not always... And you know what? One of the things somebody told me, talking about YouTube, because, they have the new requirements that you need to have at least 1,000 subscribers now to monetize a channel, and at least 4,000 hours per year of view. Somebody that is following me has just attained that 1,000 subscribers and actually asked for monetization, and they looked at the content and they said, well, we're sorry, for now we can't. And I thought, oh, well, if you have reached the minimum, it must be an automatic process or something. No, they look at the content. Somehow they're so scared that people put bad content on that it's super complicated to just, things have really changed on how YouTube works. And I got to say, I probably got there in the right time, it's really crazy. And I'm happy, a lot of people told me I'm lucky. I'm not necessarily lucky, but I'm happy. I'm happy to, to at least have 5 of my channels that have the minimum requirements. Frankly, I haven't seen any difference when they enabled the minimum requirements of 1,000 subs. I didn't see any change in my monetization because, frankly, the other channels that I had so little views that it didn't really change anything in my AdSense monetization, for sure. So, but it's really crazy, and really, really crazy how complicated it is. So, really, Ralph Bender is happy, exceeded his first 100 subs. That's you're gonna get there. At some point, you'll be at 1,000. Can tell you that. So at some point, you'll be at 1,000 for sure. Okay, what else do we have? Let's go down slowly. Anybody I've missed? I hope not. Casey Red Dragon, nice to have you on board. So, Bill K3WDR says hello to K6YYL. Okay. Is fresh snow clean enough in Canada to make snow ice cream? If you go outside of big cities, snow is usually clean enough to. I would say, I would in outside of Montreal where there's a lot of forest, I would not hesitate much in eating snow. And actually, when you go to get the maple syrup on the snow stuff, it's they use the snow that's in the forest. In the city, when it's freshly down on the ground, just falling now, okay. But in the city, after a couple of days, I don't think I would want that snow. It gets kind of disgusting, actually. Tree Hugger, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. What else do we have? No, I will not go and do what that lady did because she was mad at YouTube this week. That's kind of, just, it's sad. If someday, for some reason, it doesn't work out on YouTube, I'll just do something else. I won't go shooting anyone. Walkerbot 39, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Matrix 54X, nice to have you here. And it's pretty cool. And what else is there? Hey, the report of the week. Nice to have you here. And I was listening to you yesterday. But I was listening to you yesterday on WRMI on 5850. Enjoyed the show. I always enjoy your show, by the way, report of the week. It's one of the entertaining shows that I listen to on WRMI. And please keep it up because, I love listening. And it's always interesting. And I like the way that, it's your report of the week is kind of makes me feel of my YouTube shows. Kind of the relaxed thing of, let's just talk about, what I feel I want to talk about and other things at the same time. And your choice of music is always good. So thanks for being here. Always nice. Wow. Pretty cool. Mark H., nice to have you on board. Getting 1,000 subscribers. Somebody was telling me the other day, how easy is it to get 1,000 subs on a YouTube channel? And my quick answer is be patient and do content all the time. Don't have a week without content. If you can do content every day that has a minimum of interest, getting to 1,000 subs is not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. But you got to be constant and never stop. And if you can do it every day, do it every day. It's going to help you a lot. Callum 2, nice to have you on board. Callum from Sheffield, England. Nice to have you here. KA6SWL 6375 Pirate Station. Time Radio ID at the top of the hour. Now playing music from the 50s. Kind of interesting. Hey, Svetlana Rodriguez, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have you on board. It's been a long time. That's what I was about to say. It's been a long time. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, you got to stay away from the yellow snow. That's very, very important. I had I had one of my nephews. He was about I think it was like 6 years old, and when we go to we have the maple syrup. I don't know you call it the maple syrup on the snow that we eat, which is always good. And he so we're there, and I say, oh, why don't you take your your little stick and take the maple syrup? And he looks at me and says, no, I don't want it. And I said, why? It's super good, and I'm eating mine. And he says, well, I was looking in the forest and I saw that there was animals peeing in the forest. So by association, he said, well, that snow comes from the forest, so I don't want to eat anything that has animal pee in it. I'm like, seriously? Just, okay. You're missing out. You're missing out. So, yeah, Report of the Week. One of the great shows on Shortwave, and on many different, by the way, many different ways. You can get the Report of the Week on the internet via different apps, like TuneIn app. I even asked for it on my. Let's try it just for the fun of it. Okay, Google. Play the latest episode of the Report of the Week on a podcast. Oops.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I'm going to try it again. Play the latest... Oh, okay, Google. Play the latest episode of the Report of the Week podcast.
Sorry, I can't play the Report of the Week podcast yet.
I can't play it yet. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't ask him the right way, but I'm pretty sure there must be a way to get it on. But the Report of the Week's super interesting. I like that. Of course, I like the fact to listen to it on shortwave, though. It's much more interesting. But it's a cool show. Gary Golin, nice to have you here. Always nice to have you on board. So that XH data radio compared to the Grundig. Well, you can't compare it much, I can tell you that. Report of the Week says, thank you for the canned words. I still believe in the medium of shortwaves, so the show won't be going away anytime soon. I do also, and it's nice to have people like you that honestly give us some really nice content off of the shortwave bands, and keep up the good work. That's all I gotta say. Anybody that has not listened to the Report of the Week, you gotta. It's one of the nice and interesting stuff to listen to, and he's on at different times and different frequencies via WRMI and I think WBCQ also. What else do we have? Hey, Ravelda65, nice to have you here. Simon Robichaud, bonjour. Nice to have you on board from Clare, Nova Scotia. Got a $300 budget for a portable shortwave radio. What would be the best bang for my buck on Amazon? For $300, I'd get like a Texan Pl 660 or something like that. It's going to cost you half of that, and it's going to be a great radio. Texan Pl 660, Texan Pl 680, you'll have a great one. You can also, if they do still have it, I haven't checked recently, the Sony ICF 7600JR is also a good bet. It's a great radio with great sync capability for the a sync detector. That one's like a 180, 200. So one of these would be probably really good on Amazon. Just trying to think for $300, any other shortwave radio you might get. There's a few Grundigs out there that you might want to check out. Let me just load Amazon Canada here because you're on Canada. Amazon.ca. And let me just check for shortwave radio. Shortwave radio. anything in here that we will be checking out. So Amazon.ca, Shortwave Radio, Shortwave Radio. What do we have here that I would recommend for the price that you want to pay? Okay, let me check it out. There's this sea crane. What is there? You might want to have the... Let me check it out. So the Texan Pl 660 is 165 Canadian dollars. That's not bad. You can get yourself... It's a little expensive. It's too expensive for the Texan Pl 880. I would not pay $300 for that. What else? What else? Let me check any other receivers in here. Texan Pl 660 is a good bet. I think that would be one of the good ones that you can get there. Texan Pl 660. That's pretty much the best you got here on Amazon Canada. I gotta say one thing. There's not that much more that is really worth it. The money for performance versus the money paid. Can tell you that. Anything else? I'm looking at it here. It's a little expensive for what it is. So, you know what? Get a Texan Pl 660. You'll be happy with that. It's pretty much what I would do, honestly. And you'll be really happy with that. And it's going to cost you about $160. It's $165. So you'll be half of your budget and spend the rest on, maybe an antenna or wire to put that antenna outside or something. What else do we have? Chris Rada says, almost impossible with doing daily videos, but I do always upload one every week with smaller videos through the week. Yeah, it depends, of course. Somebody asked me how come, I got 5 channels that are, in the more than 1,000 subs and everything, and I said, well, all I got to say is I decided that YouTube was my job, so I do videos every day. The only day that I usually don't do videos is Sunday, but apart from that, I do daily videos, and I try to do daily videos everywhere, but sometimes it's difficult. Especially 5 channels, it's very difficult to maintain 5 channels. So of course I'll concentrate my videos on some that are more popular than others. So, my most popular channel is the Windows channel, obviously. The second most popular channel is the Shortwave channel, which is quite interesting for something that's so, peculiar and so unique. And maybe that's why it's popular, But, when you have another job, of course, it's very, very difficult to take the time to make all of these videos. And that's for sure. Let's go down as fast as we can. Hey, take care, Dexfire74. Good night. And tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC, we will be here again. So Callum is listening to BBC Radio 4 and 198 kilohertz long wave. Cool. Here in North America, long wave is non-directional beacons. Richard Cook's got 13845 WWCR, very strong. It's usually a good one here. It's a very strong one here. William Helms, funny as hell when you ask Google how to dispose of a corpse. Yeah, that one was quite peculiar. How to dispose of a corpse. It's like, what? Really? You're going to tell me that? Yeah, but problem is the Sony ICF 7600 is not available anymore on Amazon.ca. And it's almost impossible to find now. And the prices that I've seen are way, way out of whack. I can tell you that. Larry Marks, hey there from Hamilton, New Jersey. Nice to have you here. Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Okay, Google. What is shortwave radio?
According to Wikipedia, shortwave radio is radio transmission using shortwave radio frequencies.
That's not very... doesn't explain much. Shortwave radio is what uses shortwave radio frequencies. Huh? That didn't help at all. Sunny Sense says, I hate how Amazon prices things like the Sony radios. They discontinued, the price went up. Yeah, you know, the biggest problem is that it's there are some things there that, you know, I was looking the other day was the Grundig S450 DLX field radio that I've got here that I've paid $79 for, and on Amazon it was $550, and I'm like, huh? Really? Okay. Simon Ribachaud drinking Robichaud, drinking rum. Cool. I'm drinking beer. I'm gonna open another one, by the way. I need to get my second beer in now. So, getting my Fin du Monde beer, of course. And here we go. So cheers. And, you know, I think with the Texan Pl 660, we're gonna have a great radio. Anyways, it's a great radio. And yeah, it is sad, Southern Illinois saying that Sony's got out of shortwave radios. But you know, it's one of those things that, unfortunately, yeah, there's RadioWorld.ca that you can check out. Maybe Radio World has something. Let me just check out here. Let's check out Radio World in Toronto. Radio World. How about a shortwave radio from Radio World? Shortwave radio. Okay, so in Radio World Toronto, okay, in stock, let's see what's interesting in here. They have the... That would be a nice one here. I'm looking at what they have. Grundigs. Yeah. $123 for the Sangean. Huh. They've got the Grundig Ethon Grundig radio. That's kind of I don't know. Field BT. $150. Yeah, that's a 1.7 to 30 megahertz coverage. RDS. I don't know. I'm still sticking with the Texan Pl 660, which is really good, honestly. Daniel Walsh, nice to have you here. Happy Friday. Judd Simon, big question. Is the Texan Pl 680 better than 660? The best article I've seen to compare about is on shortwavelistening.com. And the verdict is, if you got a 660, it's not worth getting the 680. If you have none, the 680 is maybe slightly better, but because of some of the kind of the weird things that happened, like mine was off by kilohertz, and the encoder, the tuning encoder was jammed. I tend to recommend more the 660 to make sure that nothing happens, and I can tell you that. Of course, you can go on eBay and buy some of the the receivers also, for sure. What else do you have? Yep, and Onco on eBay has the and they're fast shipping. I'm amazed at how fast they ship it, and Onco is amazing how fast they ship it. Zach Antle, if I was to get a used Surface Pro off eBay, how likely do you think it would run without any hitches? You got to be careful. Buying computers and stuff like that on eBay is a very, very, very difficult, because there's a lot of things that people try to screw you. I can tell you that. David Arden just renewed his subscription to the Spectrum Monitor. Yeah, it is amazing. I've been subscribed to Spectrum Monitor for 3 years now, and every year around Christmas time, I call it my Christmas gift. Renewing my subscription to Spectrum Monitor is my annual Christmas gift. Amazing, amazing magazine, absolutely. Amazing magazine. I was reading what I think was Thursday night. I was tuning around the bands and reading my the April edition. Great magazine, absolutely. For those that don't know, the Spectrum Monitor is kind of an equivalent of what was Monitoring Times before. And actually, some of the people that wrote articles for Monitoring Times moved to the Spectrum Monitor. It's a PDF publication, so it's a online publication only. They don't have a paper version of it, but it is great. It's something like I'm trying to remember, like $35 a year or something like that, US, and great magazine. Douglas Perry, nice to have you on board. Chris Freitas says, I would do daily videos if I didn't have 2 jobs. Yeah. The difference is this is my job. That's the difference. This is my job, so I only have this to do. And I know that if I don't do videos, I will not make any money. So that's why this is the videos. Gravity Golem says, what do you guys think of the MFJ 1886 loop antenna? Is it worth the money, and does it work good? There's a few people that I've seen that have it and that seem to be very, very happy. Very, very happy. Empty carrier on 13670 apparently. Let's check it out. Anything there? There is some carrier there with nothing on it. Absolutely. I got that too. Richard Cook got the same thing, very strong. Rock Restaurante in Sweden says, I have been a DX radio amateur for many years. To me, a shortwave receiver is a big box on the table. I changed my mind when I got the PL 680 with a 20-meter wire, and it's an awesome radio. Yeah, absolutely. We all have, and if you've been listening for a long time to radio, we come from a generation of a big box with tons of buttons is cool. And it's still cool today, Even my ICOM right here, my ICOM ICR 8500 is a very cool thing. I use it regularly, and actually I need to make more videos. A lot of people are telling me, hey, I want to see more videos of your ICOM. Yeah, absolutely. I'll post more. But we have to say that a lot of the little portable radios coming out today are just crazy amazing. Look at the Texan Pl 680. And for those that wonder what it looks like, I got it right here. There we go. And by the way, the Texan Pl 660 looks very similar. So this is the 680. And one of the things that when you get one of these is, it's small, but it's crazy. It's crazy. These things are really, really crazy. And you got to say, we're moving, ahead in our technology time, and it's kind of important to kind of understand, that's where we're going. And as time goes by, electronics is smaller and smaller, but man, just crazy. So, really crazy. What else do we have? Let's go down. Callum says, I've been studying radio waves. Long wave is the most neutral, then medium wave, and then short wave. I love radio. We all love radio. That's why we're here. Jerry says, Sony could have made a nice SDR portable and be back in the game. I think they don't want to be back in the game, honestly. I think for a big company, let's, somebody was telling me once, well, look at Texan. They have tons of radios. Yeah, but they kind of concentrate on radios a lot. It's almost the only thing you hear. It's Voice of America signing on 13670. With the Yankee Doodle ID. So, Texan has concentrated on the radio side of things. Sony is a general, electronics provider of TVs and PlayStations. They're in the general mass market. I think they don't want to be in that little side of things called shortwave anymore, because it's like, yeah, we're going to sell, that million PlayStations, that million TVs, but we're going to sell that few thousand shortwave radios. Why spend precious resource of engineers to design a new radio? And Sony is having a lot of difficulty right now. They're in deep trouble. They're losing a lot of money, and the only division that Sony is working and making money at Sony is the gaming one with the PlayStation. The PlayStation is the cash cow of Sony right now. That's crazy, because if you think about the fact that, okay, you got only one cash cow, PlayStation. The TV division is crazy dead, and I mean it's losing money like a lot because competition is way too big, Nick Amendot from Romania, hello there. Nice to have you here. Zach Anto says, my problem is my laptop is still randomly crashing and I want to get something table size. Yeah, I understand, but I'm not. You know what? If we're not going to talk too much about it because this is a radio show, but go on the Microsoft website and check the refurbished Surface. They have some interesting deals, and even the past generation Surface tablets are actually really good. So you don't have to have the latest of all, Richard Cook's got in a few minutes E06 5197. The Texan Pl 660 and 680 as SSB single sideband, absolutely. And that's what I do. Like David Arden says, throw it in a bag. That's what I do when I go to Perry Island. I got this with me in my bag. I got 50 feet of wire, and you go to a park, you go to somewhere where there's no noise, and this thing, UDX, this is a serious, honestly, the Texan PL 660, 680 are serious DX machines. They're not just, little pullable radios that look like, oh, well, they're kind of cute, but I'm sure that big gun thing, well, they are amazing performance out of these things. It's crazy how the performance is. I'll tell you that. Just crazy. Bullseye 101. Hey there, nice to have you on board. Got it. RTL SDR. How do I find the right low frequency for down-up converter in hertz? Well, actually, you should have that information with the device itself. So if you have an up converter, you should actually know, because some have 50 megahertz, some are at 40 megahertz. I think the best is to Google the exact model that you've got, and you should have that frequency for the down-up converter. And remember that you gotta go into the settings. So here I don't have it because this driver for this one is an Fedry doesn't have that. But I would go, for example, on HDSDR to the XIO here, and I would go and change and put a check mark in. Okay, I need to put the offset. But it really depends on the exact model that you've got. A lot of RTL SDRs with up converter are 50 megahertz. But there are some like, the Soft 66, which I believe is 40 megahertz. And you got to set it up right. And remember, often the software wants you to put it in hertz. So 50 megahertz is 50 million hertz. 40 megahertz is 40 million hertz. You got to remember that. You need to really know which exact model you've got to know which one you got to set. Scott Collier, nice to have you on board from Missouri. Chris Freitas, PS4 is killing it now. And there are rumors that PlayStation 5 is not far off. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be before next year, at least. But, there's, for every, there are 2 PlayStation 4 sold for each Xbox. Xbox is still not bad. I mean, Microsoft has been really pulling its weight with the Xbox and working well. But the PlayStation 4 is 2 PlayStation 4 are sold for every Xbox right now. Any thoughts on the Texan S8800? The latest model, because the Texan S8800 was the first models were kind of having issues, kind of quality control issues, and that was a problem for a while. And it seems the latest models are better, but I've seen the price of the S8800. I can't understand you pay that price for that radio. I find it too expensive, honestly. I think it's too expensive for a radio. But the reviews that I've seen seem to be pretty good, honestly. David in Barcelona, Raptor 22 Stealth, nice to have you here. Says, I missed the times which Sony was the undisputed leader in electronics. Yeah, in the 80s, they were. In the 80s, you wanted a good TV, you'd buy a Sony Trinitron. Those were the good TVs. I mean, I had a 26-inch Sony that was 25 years old. It was still amazingly good. I threw it out because, it was that big 50-pound CRT that I don't want anymore. And I threw it out. And I was sad because it was still working. I was like, oh, man. And, for a while I would keep it because I would plug in the Amiga and the Atari on it and say, well, I've got that TV for that. But honestly, at some point you're like, you got that big clunky thing. And you're like, yeah. Lately in the TV market, the smart TVs and everything, Sony isn't in the game. Panasonic's in the game. Samsung's in the game. They are doing their own panels. They're doing their own things. And they are way ahead of competition. Sony isn't there. Sony is just there because it's there. It's not there because it's the best brand today. And I think they're suffering from the fact that there's a lot of problems. They're losing so much money. Sony's going crazy, I'd say. Scott says, I'm looking for a mid-sized portable that will perform like his Grundig G3. Yeah, it's just that it's expensive for what it is. I just find it expensive for what it is. Honestly. Skywave DXer just got an SDR playing. Cool. Are you enjoying it? Do you like it? It's pretty cool. Bullseye 101. Each SDRs are unique, so you got to Google it. You got to find it. That's how we work. It's not something you get in your I don't have all the SDR offset frequencies in my mind magically. It doesn't work like that, Report of the Week says a broadcast on 9955 kilohertz Voice of the Report of the Week Radio International is actually my show, and it's a repeat for listeners in South America. So that's cool. So I was so happy yesterday to listen to Voice of the Report of the Week. Find it so cool. Find it so cool. Hey, good night, Mike DX. Svetlana Rodriguez has got an Xbox 360 and one, but I'm thinking about getting rid of the Xbox One and get a PS4. Xbox just doesn't have hardly any single player games or exclusives. Yeah, that's and I believe that there's also the we're not going to talk too much about gaming stuff, but there's also the titles. I mean, you're either an Xbox fan or a PlayStation 4 fan. It's that, it's like being a Mac or a PC guy, basically. What else do we have? Yeah, Samsung has been making some really good stuff, honestly, lately. Panasonic has had the best panels of all, but Panasonic is, I believe, getting out of the display panel business, which is sad because in the past 5, 6, 7 years, Panasonic has been the best panels for TVs of all. And unfortunately, I do believe they're getting out of the panel, and Sony will be almost the only one making panels for TVs. It's sad because we're getting into a market where the electronics are slowly being made by just one company, which means we're going to really have those prices that are going to go up because only one company is going to drive the business. They're pretty much doing this. They're driving the other companies out of business by making the prices so low that other businesses, they just stop. At some point, they can't continue. They drive the other companies out of the market by having prices that are too low. Arnie Turner, hey there, nice to have you on board from Australia. Pretty cool, VK3DET on Saturday morning, I believe. And here we are in a snowy Montreal right now. Okay, what else do we have? Scott Collier, thanks for the up. I too can't see the price of the S880s. Yeah. If you're looking for something, maybe a used receiver of some sort, or maybe a used tabletop. Just be careful where you buy it, and because it's tricky. But I can tell you, it's kind of. I can't see myself spending that amount of money for the S8800. La Ristorante says, Joe, this may be a question for tomorrow. I'm considering getting an SDR Play RSP2. What requirements should you have on your computer? You don't have to have much requirement, honestly. Look at this Fedri SDR. It's working great. And this is an old Core 2 crap machine from HP with the crappiest display adapter ever. So you don't really need much of a computer to run the SDRs today. They actually run really well. So even on older computers. So if your computer is not that old and it actually works well, it's probably going to run the SDR Play really well. I mean, I've seen some people run the SDR Play on a Raspberry Pi, which is, let's face it, a very basic computer. So it gives you an idea, So, yeah, well, Foxconn makes a lot of the electronics for a lot of things, of a lot of devices around the world. But they make it in the... actually, Foxconn is a subcontractor. What happens is when Panasonic or Samsung wants a display, they tell that company that we want the display made with these specs. So it's still a Samsung display, but it's, you know, with the specs that they want, honestly. 5-year-old Intel laptop should run it just fine. You know, I mean, you don't need a very powerful computer to run them, and that's really cool for that. Dr. Rupin, or D. Rupin, Sunny from Tallahassee, Florida. Nice to have you on board. 9800, Chinese powerful in Europe. 9800. What is there here? Do I hear something? No, this is 9800. This is Radio Cairo. With some music, Radio Cairo. In English, with very, very bad modulation. So 9800 kilohertz is Radio Cairo with very bad modulation, honestly. So, yeah, and we'll talk more about SDRs tomorrow, by the way. Tomorrow is going to be dedicated to software-defined radios. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. If you have Chinese stuff on any 800, you might have, at this time, we're at 2145. 2145. There's no Chinese transmission of any sort there right now. So, I don't know, unless there's some kind of a fire drake or something jamming. But I've got, you know. Oh, you know what, Ernie Turner? Yesterday I had a little moment. I decided to Google my name. You know, I've been doing that regularly because when you do YouTube stuff and you do stuff, a lot of stuff like this, you get to a point where you kind of wonder what's online with your face in it. And I Googled my name, and I Googled my name in the Google image search also. And yeah, there are quite a few pictures of me that pop up, all pretty much related to my YouTube channels. But I did do a search on Paul the Cat, and I saw one pop up that was actually my cat. But I was also surprised to see that there were a lot of cats that actually looked like my cat that were in the search results. So I guess Paul the Cat is kind of a popular name for cats. Figures, you know. Ah, God. Yeah, 9800 is Radio Cairo. Hey, Fast Load. Nice to have you on board. Thank God it's Friday, Fast Load. How about it? You happy? I'm sure you are. Richard Cook's got Pyongyang on 6400. Yeah, that's very important. Like Judd Simon says, eBay is okay to buy, but you got to really be careful because it's so easy to get some bad, radio. You know, I was looking once. I remember looking with a friend, and there was a Kenwood R5000 receiver. It's a tabletop receiver. And a guy was selling it for $250. Said, great working condition, everything. And it had one little phrase that you got to keep in mind. It said, no returns accepted. And so the first thing that you find, and you got to be careful with shortwave radios, like everything you would buy on eBay anyway, look at the seller. Is the seller good? Did he sell a lot of stuff? You know, if the seller just sold 5 items, I'm sorry, but you haven't sold enough to really be trusty. You know, I can't trust you. And you got to be careful with that. And if you sold 1 item, or you got a 1 item for sale, and you got 20, oh yeah, that guy is great. Yeah, you just called up his 20 friends to give like some kind of positive something, you know. And remember, too good of a price is too good of a price. It's always like that. You rarely get a really good deal. You can get a good deal, but you rarely get a good deal. Okay? And when it's too good to be true, always remember it's too good to be true. It's not complicated. The fact is, because you got to remember one thing about eBay. Even if they accept returns, you got to remember that, you might have to pay that shipping price for the return, which is so high that you're like, well, the hell with it. I just lost $200 because I'm not going to return that thing to China or whatever, So you got to be very, 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 very careful. Very, very careful. What else do we have? Yep, it's Radio Cairo 9800. Lee, look, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. So, yeah, like Fazlov says, not tested, aka not working. That's, come on. That's the funniest part of eBay. Come on. You get this, not tested, I don't know how to use it. I'm sorry, but if I'm about to sell some junk on eBay, I will test it and make sure it works for one very basic reason. If it works, I can sell it at a higher price. So, not tested. What? But I did get, look, I got one scanner here, a portable united scanner that I bought on eBay for like $20. 20 shipping included everything, $22 I think it cost me. The guy said not tested, so in my head was like, okay, this probably doesn't work. The funniest thing is I purchased the scanner radio, and when I got it home, yeah, it didn't work at all. But when I opened the case, one of the wires for the battery was actually unsoldered from the terminal. So all I had to do was solder the little wire back, and I put the batteries in, and it works fine. So, there are cases where it's like super easy, but honestly, not tested, forget it. Don't buy something that's not tested, especially when it's expensive. For $5, okay. For $300, not tested, no, you're going to keep your junk, okay? Because that probably doesn't work. Even when it says sometimes turns on, sometimes they're going to put, not necessarily not tested, but they're going to say, turns on when I press the power button. That doesn't mean anything. I got a lot of things that can turn on that just don't work. I got to be careful with that. It's very, very careful. And honestly, eBay is very, very touchy in some of the things, and it's very expensive for some of the stuff. Honestly, there are a lot of radios out there on eBay that you're like, really? You want to have that kind of cash? Come on. Crazy, okay? Ralph Bender's got Russian number station on 7572 CW right now. Woo! Yeah, sold as seen. Man. Oh, not always, Nick Hammond. You got to be careful with that. That return and that refund policy, you got to be really careful with that. Because it doesn't always refund and it doesn't always work. You got to be very, very careful. Okay? Can tell you that. Driver from Shortwave says eBay is cheap for a reason. Absolutely. Chris Freitas says, I actually had to solve a dispute on eBay yesterday. I tried to sell an item for somebody in Texas, somehow bypassed the initial PayPal payment, and then text me asking for my PayPal address. Yeah, that there's a lot of stuff on eBay you got to be careful, especially when you're a seller. You got to be careful. A lot of people are actually double crossing people with that. using stolen credit cards, stuff like that. I remember here seeing a guy that was selling a laptop on eBay, and he sold a laptop for like $600, and he shipped it. Payment came through. He shipped it. 2 or 3 days later, payment was removed from his bank account. Said, look, whoa. No, you're not. Well, not removed from the bank account because they can't do that, but was his PayPal account went, done under like minus 600, And I said, whoa, what happened? And PayPal replied, well, stolen credit card. But the guy already had shipped. So the guy shipped a laptop for $600, and get this, he contacted Canada Post. He said, "Can you get that thing back?" And they said, "Yeah, we can return the item if you want, but it's going to cost you." So the $600 that he lost because he didn't have it, it cost him $225 for the laptop to be sent back to him. $225 to return the item. Canada Post tracked it, said, "Hey, you got to return that thing back here to Canada." So it cost him $225. Fast load. I got a 6-pack. You should have come over. All in your radio, 7550. All in your radio. I'm very good here. How about 9445? I was amazed. What's the solar flux today? I was dx.qsl.net. Solar flux was 66 today. Some of the lowest you see. Look at that, 67. Some of the lowest you ever see in what is solar minimum right now. And it's really showing up in the bands, I can tell you that. Really showing up in the bands. Really crazy. And the K2 says, "I left this live show up on my smart TV and the kids thought you had a real TV show for a minute." That's nice. Yeah, Callum, I miss BBC World Service when they were in that easy, 5975 kilohertz slot for North America in the evening. I remember listening to the BBC World Service at night. They're still on shortwave though. It's a little harder to receive, but it's a little harder. I get the Ascension Island relay on 15400. 12095 is one of the frequencies I hear regularly. It's not as easy as it was in the past, honestly. 5975, I always remember 5975 kilohertz. It was all evening to North America and always very good. And I believe some 5975 back then was from the Bonaire transmitter site in the Caribbean. That's why it was so good. Chris Fredo says, then they sent a bogus PayPal email stating money was in my wallet but not showed up when I checked online. Never sent the item and escalated the issue yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. You have to do so. There's a lot of double crossing on PayPal and eBay. It's just crazy. What a crazy world we are in. People trying to steal money from you or anything. Okay, what else do we have? Fastload, yeah, tested power on. Yeah, that's like, oh, power on. It powers on. Huh. Okay. You'd say you would sell this ICOM ICR 8500 for, I don't know, $500. $500 is kind of that price range where you're like, huh, And the guy just says, power is on, I can see the digits. It doesn't mean the radio works. It might be deaf. It might have no audio, whatever. Just crazy. Richard Cook, 7445, very strong, playing music. MDK2 says, turns on, lol. That reminds me of classified for used cars that says, runs good. Runs good, yeah, but what does run good mean exactly? You know, runs good, yeah, for 2 kilometers, and then you're like, you know, you gotta call that, you know, that towing or something. There will be more and more interference, Calvin, because unfortunately we live in a world where the rules and regulations, you know, it's very simple. There's a lot of the stuff we get from China that honestly never passed the regulations for you know, noise emissions. Let's face it. Just look at all the interference and the shit that comes out of these Chinese crap, you know, power supplies and so on. These guys never took the time to really follow the rules. And we are, unfortunately, as shortwave radio listeners and amateur radio operators, suffering from that, unfortunately. You know, it's just crazy. Yeah, like Think I'm I wanted to say they refund you if your product is not received, but if you have to return it back, indeed, it's a risk. And it's always crazy. You know, I've bought over 300 or 400 items on eBay. I've never sold. And my experience has always been, you know, I've always been careful which, you know, seller I buy the stuff from. My experience have always been rather good. In general, you know, when you buy from a seller that sold 10,000, 20,000 stuff, yeah, okay, that guy sold so many items, you know, it's like, you know, and he's got a good score. They will try to, you know, the best experience, the worst experience, I mean, I have had was with a cheap Android tablet, a 10-inch Android tablet that was $70. And I thought, I got to try that out. I'm just too curious what, you know, I knew it was crappy. But I was like, for $70, I want to see that 10-inch tablet running in my hands. When I got it, I charged it. I turned it on. After 10 minutes of fiddling with it, it stopped working. And it didn't do anything anymore. And of course, I contacted the seller saying, hey, stopped working and everything. Seller says, well, you know, send it back, we'll refund. And I remember I told him, sending it back to you will cost me the same price as the $70 I paid for it. So I'm not happy. I'm not going to send it back. It's not what I want. So the guy said, okay, what about if we send you one for $25? Would you accept that deal? And I was like, okay, well, it now comes a $95 tablet, but I was like, yeah, okay, I'll accept that deal. And he sent it for $25, and the second one worked fine. It was sluggish, it was a piece of crap, but, you know, I knew it would probably be a piece of crap anyway. I just was curious as to what it was, which is a piece of crap. But, you know, I accepted that deal. But it's like, yeah, you know, it doesn't work, you know. Probably today in the same situation, I would say, I'm not sending it back. It doesn't work. And I'm going to say I want to have my money back. You know, probably I would do that. You know, less shipping. I'll be honest. Less shipping. You spend on the shipping. And you know, these Chinese companies, I'm sure that tablet cost them $5 or something, you know. Just crazy. Mark H. No problem. What else do we have? Svetlana Rodriguez, 9955 WRMI. Yep. Absolutely. Brian Penny, nice to have you here. Been a knob twirling the Xer for over 40 years. My go-to rigs are JRC NRD 525, great receiver. Kenwood TS2000, great transceiver. And he purchased an SDR Plate R2 a few weeks ago. It has completely reinvigorated his interest in his hobby. I mean, come on, these things, you know what? It's very simple. A lot of people say, well, you're not using your ICOM anymore. I got addicted to, it's very simple. I got addicted to this. Hey, here's Greece, 9420. Great signal from Greece on 9420, by the way.
Πληροφορίες στα τηλέφωνα 6945-413-954 και 6944-700-513 και στο www.
So this is okay, the ephedry SDR. Honestly, I gotta say one thing. Software-defined receivers changed the hobby totally. I love having a box. I love my ICOM. My ICOM does and is superior than the ephedry in some points. But you've got that waterfall that shows you every little details of signals. And I gotta say, you get hooked to that because I've missed, and I would have missed tons of signals not being on an SDR. I saw so many things that was like, oh, there's this little signal there. What's that? Oh, there's a new signal that just popped up on that frequency. What's that? I gotta say, you get hooked to SDRs. They are pretty much, kind of the future of radio listening, honestly. A lot of people don't like them, and I'm going to talk more about it tomorrow. But I gotta say, just, it's crazy. These little things are amazing, and you don't even have to spend that much money. I mean, even a $40 soft 66 RTL 3 or 2 is already amazing for the price paid. It's just crazy, I gotta say that. B says, Jill, a pocket radio for you to do medium wave DXing, a humble Sony P26. Check out the price in Canadian dollars. Really, Sony P26. Let's check that out. The Sony P26. That is kind of interesting. Let's check out the Sony P26. Is that available here? Sony P26. Okay, a little portable. It's a little portable. Huh. That's interesting. A little portable. And let's just check it out. Sony ICF P26. Oh, there's even a Montreal store that sells one. Oh, they even have one at the Source in Canada. How much do they sell it for? Sony ICF P26 integrated AM/FM portable radio. That's going to be interesting to look at. What's the price? Wow, why is it taking so long for these websites to appear? Come on. I'm going to check that out. It's really good. Try 27025. Let's check it out. Any sporadic E-skip right now? Nothing on 27025 right now. So, is it showing up? Oh, here it is. Oops. Go back. $23. And it's available in the Source Canada, La Source. Sony ICF P26 integrated AM/FM portable radio, featuring a new LED battery status indicator and running on 2 AA batteries. Compact vertical Sony AM/FM radio, and it's a very small portable receiver. I see it here. $23.24 Canadian. Right now. and it's in stock apparently at my local source right here where I live. Well, that could be a weekend little portable radio I could fetch. Can check it out. What do I think of bandconditions.com? You know what? One of the things that I hate about websites that have real-time maximum usable frequencies and in band conditions and all of that, a lot of it has to do with what is simply math, meaning we look at the solar flux versus the geomagnetic field versus, and I sometimes find that they are not necessarily, don't necessarily reflect the reality of what is happening on the bands, honestly. Walker Boss says you need a shirt with "It's Crazy" on both sides. Take care, extending the extra, Keegan. But I have a lot of difficulty with that, honestly, with these websites, and I rather turn on the radio and try it out. It's too easy in these day and age to look at specific conditions from a website if you want, and just use that and say, oh, I want to turn on the radio. And I actually see it all the time on some of the Facebook groups that talk about radio. I see all the time people saying, oh, K-index is 5, I'm going to watch a movie tonight, not to turn on the radio. Well, you don't understand what radio is all about, and you don't understand the effects of what all of this means. That's why I don't necessarily like, websites like bandconditions.com. The best, if you're an amateur radio operator, turn on your gear and just call. And you'll be surprised with what can come back from that call. That's all I got to say. Radio Romania, as Richard Cook is mentioning, 7315, a very good signal.
Work when Easter meal continues to be prepared, and when the eldest woman in the house makes the Easter cheesecake, which is made with leavened dough and cottage cheese. This is an ancient agrarian ritual, along with the slaughtering of lambs. It was also done on Saturday as a symbol of the Saviour's death. This was followed by the preparation of lamb dishes specific to Easter. In some areas, people go caroling instead. And few people know that this was done, since caroling is associated mostly with Christmas. People go around the village singing Easter carols, especially on Passion Week, mainly in the areas of Pennsylvania, Illinois, Krishna and Banat. Housewives paint boiled egg spread, symbolizing the blood of the Savior that floated down on the ground when he was crucified in sacrifice on behalf.
They are talking about Easter, I believe, because they are also on Easter for, I think, this weekend or something in Romania. Mick H, nice to have you here. Very cool. KC Red Dragon says, old-time music on 5442. Really? 5442? Nothing much here. Hey, by the way, I heard the buzzer 4625. It was weak, but I did hear the buzzer on 4625 on Thursday evening. Thursday evening? No, Wednesday evening. Sorry. Yes, 741. If you follow CT Fallen on Twitter, HARP activation is apparently starting Friday, which would be today, I guess. So we need to check that out. Donald Hosner with great music, great signal, apparently, from Richard Cook's got BPM China, 5,000 kilohertz. Walker Ball says, yes, SDR's got me into this, and I saw you using one, and I got interested. It is amazing how software-defined radio are changing the game and listening to the bands. I mean, it's beautiful to see all the signals. It's something we couldn't even dream of in the 80s or the 70s when we were using our analog, or even the first receivers that had digital displays and all of that. That was kind of cool. And, I find that, I would say probably that SDR, software-defined radios. So look at that. There's a signal here. What is that? Well, I just go there and tune. And there we go. Oh, listen to that. Fast load. 5270 upper sideband. It's one of those Quebec radios. Somewhere in the northern parts of Quebec, of the province of Quebec. Des Pourvoiries or something like that. This is French Quebecois. 5270. This is they're kind of using these old Radio Alma transceivers and broadcast there on the bottom part of 5 megahertz. So I would have not have seen that he was talking if it was not for an SDR. I was tuning somewhere else. I saw something pop up right there. Hey, click. I considered this, when the first digital displays happened on radios, where you can finally punch in a frequency and be there. That was probably a really huge revolution. Well, this is probably as big of a revolution for radio, being the future of radio. Software-defined radios. JVDX says 9420 is S8. So, it's just crazy. Just crazy. Marcel says Sony P26 on Amazon for $14.99. Yeah, Amazon US. If it's Amazon in US, it's equivalent to $23.99, $23 Canadian. And I got it just by going to the Les Sources store not far from here. Very simple. Expensive for what it does, fast load. Oh God. KC Red Dragon says 6340, very strong. Fast load says SDR to seek signal and then tune on PCR 1000. Wow. So what else now? Censorship sucks. Nice. Hey Taylor and Taylor Donald. Nice to have you here. Mr. Henry, 1876. Hello there. Nice to have you here. Yeah, Easter in Romania this weekend. Yeah. Painting eggs in red color. Huh, interesting. You are celebrating with your family, Nick Hammondot? I would guess. What else is there? I started hearing RWM on 9996 in the evenings. Aha, MDK2. That's nice. I tried it a few times this week, but I've not been able to receive it. Basically. Kevin Walkowski, nice to have you here, says Eton, Granting Satellite, and Executive Editions sets are surprisingly sensitive in quality products. Purchase them off eBay for $80 to $100. So cool. I've got the Grundig Traveler 3 that I'm pretty surprised. I gotta say. Yeah, noise is pretty much the norm today, unfortunately, for a lot of us. Eggs, lamb, and lots of vegetables, part of the traditional Easter meal. Cool. Michael Langer says, stop the madness. It's cheating. Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's cheating. But it's a radio. I mean, that I think that's the part where a lot of people don't understand. I regularly have people saying, well, listening off the internet is not... No, you don't understand. A software-defined radio is not internet radio. It's a radio. I got the little box right there in the back here with the blinking lights. I don't know if you guys can see the blinking lights just behind the little transceiver here. That if you can see the little box is like right here, down here, with little blinking lights. And that's the Fedri SDR. It's plugged in to an antenna in the backyard. It's a radio. It has one difference. It plugs in or communicates with a computer to have your front panel and controls, basically. So just think about it as a radio that has one thing that's missing, the front panel and controls. These are on the computer screen. And it gives you a lot more flexibility. I mean, you can tweak everything on an SDR. So, the computer does a lot of the processing. Really amazing. G. Brennan says, cool, 5270 coming in nice, clear in Toronto, Ontario. Yeah, these are... There used to be a service called Radio Alma, which was when, like groups that go do some hunting or fishing up north. Because there was no way to communicate by phone with these, they would communicate back via radio. But Radio Alma is gone, doesn't exist anymore. And I have the impression that they kept the radios to communicate with the people that they want. So look at that, guys. The line that you see there, that's a ionospheric sounding that was just passing through to test out the ionosphere. Are you going to try the buzzer before you leave tonight? Yeah, absolutely, Richard. We're going to try it out. It's still a little early for it, but let's just try it for the fun of it. It's 46:25. Am I hearing the buzzer right now? It's still too early. But before I leave, we're going to try it again. 5270. Here we go. I hear a lot of those on 5270 regularly. This is a Stanag. What's that here? Well, that's WBCQ 5130. So 5270. JDX says 5270 is faint. Faint. KC Red Dragon, 9830. Turkey. And here it is, Voice of Turkey in their summer schedule. Voice of Turkey, 9830 kHz in English.
It is thought that the Mississauga located near Genasi was built in the 2nd century BC. And the 7 sculptures of frogs into the niches located in front of...
Okay, we got thanks MDK2. That's nice. You've been following Chris Fallen. Says just tweeted, warm up your tubes, your tube radios, and tune to 3400 kilohertz in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Oh, Jerry says the ICF P36 is a new version of the P26. Interesting. So, that's interesting. So, 3400 kilohertz. I'm just gonna... I need to get the Twitter. I need to get to the Twitter page here. Twitter.com, and I'm gonna go and check out Chris Fallen. TTFE. Here we go. So, he has tweeted. Let me just check it out here. Whoops, that's not what I want. So 7 minutes ago, he did say, warm up your tube radios and tune to 3400 kilohertz in 20 minutes. So this is coming from HARP. This is kind of cool though. We're live right now, and it's coming from HARP in Alaska. So guys, 3400 kilohertz in about 12 minutes from now. So we're at what? 2240 UT, something like that. Around 2240 UT, a little less. 3400 kilohertz. Might have something interesting there. Huh. Kind of cool. What else do we have? So Richard Cook's hearing Radio Rebelde, Cuba 5025. Kevin Walskowski says Radio World Canada is a great eBay seller resource for Eton Grundig. G. Brennan says 9830 is into Toronto like a local radio, so he's listening to Voice of Turkey, which is in their summer frequency here. Callum says prefer analog to digital, is more natural. Yeah, there's nothing more natural, honestly. Natural is a very vague thing. What is natural exactly? I mean, if you can make it work and if you can do it, it's, it's natural. It's very vague. Natural is very vague. Richard Cook says the Cuban lady on 10715. Let's try 10715. Let's see if I hear it. That's not very strong, but it's there. It's there. It's very weak, but it's there. 10715. Well, they've taught Sony's getting off the shortwave radio market, not the radio market. So it's still, I believe, going to make AM/FM radios. It's shortwave radio they just don't want to be part of anymore, honestly. But I believe they will still make basic sets for AM/FM. And as we are going through, so take care, Donald Hosner. It's nice to have you on board. And tomorrow there's a show at 2000 hours UTC for those that are going to follow through. A few little things I want to mention again. Remember that there's the Canadian International DX Club, which is a great little club where you have this Canadian International DX Club Messenger Bulletin every month. This is the April edition. You can have a sample copy at cidxclub.com, at yahoo.com, sorry. cidxclub@yahoo.com. There you will get a sample copy if you've never had one. If you had one already, don't ask again, because you will not get another one. It's a club membership, so you'll have this bulletin every month in your email in a PDF format. It is a great publication with tons of information in here, very well made. $10 a year, $25 for 3 years, and it's at, of course, cidxclub@yahoo.com. Why not join in and be part of a club at the same time? Apart from that, I also want to mention that this Sunday I will be part of the International Radio Report. I'll be joining in David and Sheldon Harvey in the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. Local time Montreal is 10:30 a.m. on 90.3. You can listen via the internet at ckut.ca, and the streaming goes on at 14:30 Universal Time. You can listen to the archive after. So I'll be there with Sheldon and David on this Sunday show. And, well, last but not least, donations are accepted and welcome. If you like what I do, if you enjoy what I do, look, paypal.me/shortwave or the Yahoo email that you see here. Great way to help me out. And it is, I would not have been going through and still be here probably in 2017 if it was not for the donations. They have helped me when there was probably the crappiest AdSense and the crappiest YouTube monetization ever. This year is better, and thank God it's better, because I was starting to think, what am I going to do in life? But you know what? You can join in and send me a little something if you wish. I'm trying to, there's a lot of people that are always the same people giving money all the time. And it's cool, and I want to thank everybody. But, there's a lot of people that do not donate. And I know that some people can donate and just don't. If you like what I do, why not think about it? It's, I spend a lot of time doing this. I spend a lot of time every week. I'm here on schedule all the time. So, think about it. If you can donate a little something, helps out tremendously. Thanks for all of you that donated, for sure. Helps me continue in doing these shows. Okay, back here. So let's do to 3400. Now, most of North America is kind of in a in daylight, so I'm not sure 3400 kilohertz is going to make it much here. But anyways, HARP in Alaska, and basically it's there's been there's been a reactivation of the activity of HARP, and there probably will be more tonight. So we have this 3400 kilohertz, but if you follow at CT Fallen on YouTube for the HARP stuff, there are going to be more frequencies tonight and more things, I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be interesting to look at. What else is there? I don't know exactly, Jerry. You just said 3400 kilohertz. So I've put myself in upper sideband. I don't know. It's 3,400 kilohertz. That's all I know. Hey, no problem. Indicate too. Some of you are very generous, and I thank you very much. But I find it sad that it's always the same people that have to donate. But in everything in life like that, there's just a small percentage of people that actually do give out money. And I totally understand. I mean, everybody works very hard for his cash, so it's something that you No problem, Callum. You are welcome. Jerry DX says here's fluttering on 3400 upper sideband. I got nothing here, and I mean, with the daytime path from Alaska to here right now, I mean, where they are, it's 4 hours. I think they're 4 hours behind. That means they're 2:30 in the afternoon. Well, you know what, Trenston Marsalek, if you're so uncomfortable about me talking about donations, get the hell out of here, and that's all I got to say. I got no patience for idiots like that. But people that can donate, I totally respect, and that's all. So just get the hell out. Okay. I'm going to keep my cool. And I will actually, and I'll take the responsibility, just remove the guy. I'm sorry. I have no patience for things like that. Okay? It's not meant to be, to make anyone uncomfortable, but, and I totally understand when you can't donate. But please, I can't. Just can't. Hey, I didn't use the F word. I was able to maintain my F word to myself and just use another phrase to say, go away. Okay. So 3400 kilohertz harp experiment in a few minutes time. I don't know if we'll hear anything. You know, it could be surprising. They have so much power in that harp antenna. You know. Oh, God. Hey, take care. Who's going? No, it's never the end. It's never the end. Yeah, it's, well, you know, I am a very simple and direct person, I gotta say. Probably, Fastload, you probably are right in that comment. Probably. I mean, come on. You know. Just, you know. He tested my temper, which showed that my temper is very short. And, you know, and when I say that, all I got to say is, I totally respect people that don't have the money to donate. I know there are a lot of them out there, and it's fine. I don't want to have money from somebody that just, you know, barely, you know, can make it. All I got to say. No, 14670, Richard, always jumps over me because it's too close. It's just too close. I never get 14670 here. It's one of those frequencies that skips over me, you know. Remember that CHU Ottawa is barely 120 kilometers away from me. And that very high frequency, it usually jumps over. So some people say there's a carrier on MDK2 says a carrier on 3400 kilohertz. Yeah, the skip zone, absolutely. Exactly, Judd Simon. You know, and that's the funny part is, you know, somebody takes the time to thumbs down. I don't care. It actually adds to the activity of the channel. No, it actually helps more than it hurts, for the most part. That's okay, you know, David Arden. I mean, you know, on the radio, the tech show this week, there's a guy that from he's in Puerto Rico, and he's trying to get, you know, he needs to buy a new computer because his computer is dead. And you know, he always tells me, "Oh well, you know, I'm trying to give you a donation and everything." And I mean, please, if you are having difficulty buying a new computer, don't donate. Take that donation you wanted to give me and buy yourself a computer with it. I ain't asking for money like that for most people. So, you know, it's that. Somebody's knocking on my door, but I can't. I'm in a live show right now, so forget about it. And I'm sure it's my next door neighbor, like, you know, right now. So Richard Cook's got nothing on 3400. Fastload pays with radios and gadgets. Yeah, that's a fine payment. I mean, radios and gadgets is a fine payment. Calvin, nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Mike DeVita, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. XNADXer Keegan says nothing on 3400. Nissan Greenwich says nothing in Dublin from 3400. And well, you know, I'm in the middle of a live show. I won't answer the door. I'll go, and after the show, I'm going to go and see what, you know, he or she wants. Well, she wants. It's my next door neighbor. She's moving. I heard them like moving tons of things, but you know, it's not time for that. Hey, take care, Ralph Bender. Thanks for being here and being a great fan. I might be Paul. Let me in. Wow, if Paul knocks on the door with such a heavy paw, I'm scared. He's gonna. I'm scared of Paul now. What else do we have? Ev Glassy, nice to have you on board. And thanks for checking in, even though, you know. Here's Johnny. Jed Simon says, it's me knocking. I'll stop back later. Oh man, if it's you, Jed, I'm going to open the door. No problem. Could be Fastload. You know, Fastload would have been able to like drive over here and say, hey, it's it's me. Hey, Patrick Manny, nice to have you on board. Piet Mondrian student, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. And Mikhail could be the person who just got kicked out. Nah. Nothing on 3400 there in Barcelona. So I don't know. It must, you know, in the West Coast maybe you guys will hear something, but and it's at this time 3400 from Alaska to here. I don't think. So what's the PayPal address? Here it is. Here's the PayPal stuff for those that want to donate. And thanks once again. Pascal, that's true. I could be on my phone right in front of your door. Well, you would be probably saying, can you answer the door? It's me. You would probably do that. Oh, God. Mike DeVito, whose song? Someone knocking at the door, someone ringing the bell. Oh, my God. That's a good question. That does tell me something. There must be a... SWL France, SDR, bonsoir, bienvenue. De la France. Il est tard en France. Is Paul McCartney? Two hands on the radio? It's Paul McCartney? Oh man. MDK2 following the chat on HF Underground. They're not finding it either. They're checking online SDRs around the area. Seems to have something, but it could be a harmonic. Huh. Oh, Wings. It's Paul McCartney and Wings. Yes. Yes, now I remember. It's Paul McCartney and Wings that has that song. Absolutely. And we'll turn this show into a trivia show. Who sings? You know, It's a Heartache. Fastload should know. His wife sings It's a Heartache. So nothing here for 3400 kilohertz, that's for sure. And answer the door. Does it talk? If your door talks, well, okay. Let's be careful. If the door talks, you know, in 2018, your door can probably talk today. You might have one of those doors that can talk to you. You know. It's not as crazy as it seems in 2018 to have a door that talks back to you. But if you were in 1980 and your door talked back to you, I would have probably said you are taking too much drugs, or you need to have some kind of pills to help you out. Doors with an attitude. How dare you knock so loud on my door? You know, the door talks back to you. It's like, can you knock softly? So please knock softly on the door. Okay, I'm not working. You have knocked too hard on the door. I don't like it. Go away. And imagine the door says, go away. Oh, God. I am getting drunk because I'm saying all sorts of weird things now. So third beer, it's not too bad. I'm starting my third beer in 2 hours and 43 minutes. Not bad, eh? Knock knock, who's there? A door that farts. I'd like that. A door that farts. And you know, with the full thing, I mean, not only does it fart, but it actually smells. Go away. Yep, HF Underground, Source for Radio. Hey, Jet Simon, you're great. Posting all these links. Thank you so much. I mean, man, wow. I'm getting drunk. Everybody's selling in, rolling. You know what? I had a dream actually this week about live shows. And I was dreaming that we had a 6-hour show. And it's like, whoa, is that going to be like, you know, something come true? Is that a premonition or something? Oh, man. Yeah, the Doors lead singer, of course, Jim Morrison. Everybody knows it's Jim Morrison. I love the Doors. It's one of the bands I love to listen to. Who sang I Want to Be a Door? Okay, Google. Who sang I Want to Be a Door?
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that yet.
She doesn't know how to help with that yet. Calvin says, deja vu. Oh, God. So, are we really going into trivia right now? You know, it's like, okay, I'll have trivia for you. I'm going to have trivia for you, okay? What station left shortwave in 2017 in January? Now, that's radio trivia. What station left shortwave in January of 2017? Yeah, knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. And there we go. We have a winner in MDK2 and Judd Simon and Mind Davida and Two Hands on the Radio. Okay, Google. Fast load. I'm going to drive you nuts. Okay, Google. What was Radio Australia?
According to Wikipedia, Radio Australia is the international broadcasting and online service operated by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Australia's public broadcaster.
Huh. But there's only one problem. Fastload says, shut up. Okay, Google. Chante une chanson. That's for Fastload. You have it.
There aren't any other speakers connected on your home network, so I can't broadcast your message.
Yeah, so Fastload has the one in French. Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to stop it now. Well, you know, it always starts... This week I was watching a Android podcast on YouTube, and they were always saying, hey, okay, Google, and things like that. And my Google Home Mini just, every time was starting and doing everything they were actually asking it to do. It was like, okay. 73's Gary Golin, always nice to have you on board. It's just crazy. Oh, God. You know. Oh, man. So, okay. Let's see what's interesting. Let's check out the 25 meter band. Anything interesting in the 25 meter band? So 11, 930. Oh, do you guys hear the Cuban jamming on 11930? It's the Cuban jammings. It's there to block Radio Marti. It's kind of a noise. 11930, Cuba jamming Radio Marti, but Radio Marti is not on now. It's really just the jamming that I hear on 11930. Piet Mondria student says, heard the shortwave report on WRMI Saturday. Cool. MDK2. Oh, God. Oh, you got Marti on 11930, Richard? I've got the jamming from Cuba. It's interesting because I don't hear Marti at all right now, but I hear that jamming from Cuba on 11930. And that is kind of cool. So you've got Marti, Richard, and I've got the jamming signal. Huh, that's interesting. Jed Simon says, I see full signal, but sounds like an engine running badly. Yeah. This is the Cuban jamming. Because Cuba jams every frequencies that Radio Marti is broadcasting on. Because Radio Marti is broadcasting kind of, U.S. propaganda to Cuba. And Cuba doesn't like it, so they jam the frequencies. Every frequency is jammed. Here in Montreal, from time to time, what is going to happen is I hear either the jamming, either Radio Marti, or a mix of both. Most of the time, it's a mix of both. I'd say 90% of the time, I still hear Marti, but I will hear the jamming over it. Bonne nuit, SWL France. Demain, 20h, temps universel. Nous sommes en direct encore. Alors, si vous voulez écouter notre émission, nous serons là demain aussi, 20h, temps universel. Good night, SWL France. David Arden says, Cuba doesn't want Canadian listeners speaking on Radio Marti. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. 9565. Let's try 9565. I have a very, very slight Marti. I can hear it in the background, but there is the jamming is there also. 9565. For me right now, it's a mix of both. It's a mix of Radio Marti and the jamming on 9565. Pretty interesting. So Cuban jamming on 9565 also. Incredible. Spending so much money just to jam a transmission. Yeah, man. Crazy times we are in. 9760 is...
Of people like me, people like you working in communications is not better than it has been 10 years ago. The opposite is the case. Sad news too. Fake news? The role that press journalists have in us, in their counterparts in PR.
Radio Romania, 9760.
Information, and we feel this mistrust every day to day, no matter whether you're working in the communications department of a company or you're working in a PR.
Radio Romania, 9760.
Number 4, fake news harm your clients in either way, either because they are victims of fake news or when they issue fake news. Not correct information.
Come on, there's no fake news on the internet. The internet is pure truth all the time.
Lose trust and credibility. Fake news number 5, and this is something which is actually one of the main topics at all international communications conferences I'm in during this time. Since the reputation of the communications industry is going down because of this whole fake news discussion,
I'm sorry, but everything on the internet is true. Somebody posted on Facebook a picture of a kind of a kid on the internet and says, now that April Fool's Day is over, everything is now great and true news on the internet. Actually, the only day of the year that it's fake news is not there is on April Fool's Day. So, Turkey into the interval signal now in 8830 apparently. Let's check it out. You guys remember the old Voice of Turkey interval signal? Do you guys remember that? YouTube. So, Voice of Turkey. Hey, I'm live apparently. Look at that. There's this guy in this red shirt. And apparently he's live. According to YouTube, he's live right now. Voice of Turkey interval signal. But from the past. Do you guys remember that? That was the interval signal. That old version. Here it is. Here it is. VA2XMS Petro says tune into your own stream.
Hier ist die Stimme der Türkei.
That was the original. When I actually heard Voice of Turkey for the first time ever in the 80s, that was the original interval signal that I had heard. And today, if it's still on, this is what it is now. It's still the same interval signal, they just made it different. David Arden says copyright notice. Well, I'll be darned if somebody comes back for copyright notice for the old Voice of Turkey interval signal. I'm gonna fight it. Oh, that's interesting. Just Simon says, remember on Spaceball when they jammed the radar by launching and smashing a jar of jelly at satellites? Oh God. Yeah, I remember that. Oh man. Jerry says Maritime Net on 14300 upper sideband. Bill K3WDR 3938 lower sideband at 2330 Zulu. North Carolina SSB net every night. Are you a regular contributor to that net, Bill? Do you often log in or join in the net for North Carolina? I like to listen to nets on 80 meters from time to time. It's kind of cool. I like those. MDK2 says, if Gilles tunes into his own live stream, will be caught in an inescapable time loop. Well, if that time loop involves shortwave and amateur radio, I got no problem with that. I'll be happy stuck in that time loop. No problem. Oh God. Yeah, it wasn't very long, but it's not just fair use, XNEDXer, because it all comes from the fact that a few weeks back I posted the Lincolnshire Poacher, kind of interval signal, if you want, number station, and I got flagged with a copyright infringement, and I was like, come on, that is not owned by anyone, or if it is, I want to have the original company or organization that made it. But it's because it was sent by, there's the people that made the CDs with all the number stations. They claim copyright on all of the. They claim copyright on all of the number station stuff. So when they actually did it, I said, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I understand that you made CDs. I understand that you made something with the number stations, over time. But I'm sorry, all the recordings are not yours at all. They're not yours at all. And so I fight it back. It's like, no, they're not your recordings. You can't claim copyright on something that already existed before. I'm sorry, you can't do that. And what happened is they came back and said, well, okay, they're removing the copyright notice. Hey, come on. A number station. I didn't play a Madonna song. I played a number station. XNEDXer says station on 11950. 11950. Anything here? Oh, it's Cuba. Radio Havana, Cuba, with its interval signal. Oh, and we have the honor of hearing the military drill. Let's march. So I haven't heard that in a long time from Radio Havana, Cuba. Man. Oh yeah, if I get a copyright for that, I will also laugh my head off. I can tell you that. I gotta tell that. Let's march around the radios, David says. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing, David. The numbers are copyrighted, baby. Come on. Yeah, Chris Freitas, I was very, I lose my temper easily on certain things. But, it was obvious that it was probably spamming. But you know what? It wasn't spamming that, it wasn't the kind of spamming that I'm like, it was easy. It was like light spamming, just, yeah, okay. Sometimes there were some interesting things, or questions that would, okay, but, Anyways, you guys are the moderators, so do as you wish. When you think something is wrong, I totally agree with whatever you did in the chat room, and that's why you guys are moderators. So Bill, you are part of it. I need to check it out. I don't know if I hear the North Carolina one here. For sure. Oh God. What is there? What is there in here? So, anyways. What else is there in the 25 meter band? So we've got Cuba on 11.950. We got the jamming on 11.930. On 11.840, I've got something weak. I believe that's Cuba also. Yeah, it is Cuba. 11.760 is also Cuba. Let's just go here. So 11.60 Cuba. With some music. Now that can be copyrighted because it is Cuban music after all. What else is there in here? I don't really hear much in this neck of the woods on 25 meter. Let's try the buzzer again. Talking of the buzzer, have you guys noticed on 5 megahertz? I'm just going to go up on the 5 megahertz range. 5 megahertz. Is it there? It's not even there tonight. I wanted to show you guys what I've heard. There's this sweeping sound on the 5 megahertz range for the past few days, and it's not there tonight. And it's driving me nuts, trying to wonder what that is. 5346.5 upper sideband. There's some amateur radio operators. This is the come here, man. Don't be down there. I'm not gonna go pet the cat here. Come over here. 5346.5 upper sideband, 60 meter band amateur radio operators.
Nice to listen to. We have a couple AWA meets on the air where you CW have to use a.
Hey, Radio Obvious, nice to have you here. You heard? Did you hear on the 5 megahertz range? It was like around 5250 or something. It's very fast sweeping, and it was there like all evening for the past few days, and I never heard that in the 5 megahertz range before. So you think it's over the horizon radar? Kind of interesting. So anyways, nice to have you here, Radio Obvious. Always cool to have everybody here. You know, David Arden, it's kind of everything is possible, and that's when he said that. You know what? I don't know. You don't know how to deal with that, and you don't want to. You know, I rapidly lose my temper on people that are idiots, but I have a lot of patience with what I consider people that might just be I don't know how to say it exactly, but like, that just need help basically and are not bad people. So that's why I kind of just, really just went with it, honestly. No, Lelock, because what you're talking about, the swish, swish, swish sound is this. And I'm going to have you listen to one of the swish, swish sounds. So here we go. There's a very good one here. This is probably what you mean, Lelock. Now that is Kodar. That is Kodar. And Polycat is actually putting his paws on my knees saying, hey human, I want food. So he's back. The star of the show is back. So here it goes. This is the star of the show again. Saying hi to everyone. So he's the guy that wakes me up at 3 a.m. for the past few days. He's the bad guy. Wakes me up with his paw in my face at 3 a.m. And if I don't respond, he jumps on me. Just like, hey human, I'm here. So, it's just funny. Hey Magalone, nice to have you here. So, it's so that is Kodar. Kodar is a type of radar that checks for, or that is actually reporting back on the height of ocean waves. So this is known, and these swish, they're scattered. All the radars are scattered across the east coast of the United States, and I'm pretty sure in the west coast they must have some also. But the one that I heard on 5 megahertz is much faster than that, and different. And I had not heard and never heard that before. Oh, don't worry, Chris Freitas. I think you did probably the right thing, I would guess. I don't know. I personally was, I got to say one thing, Chris. I was halfway between, do we ban the guy or not? I didn't know what to do. So, I totally understand you guys' position. And, and you guys are also thinking about, well, what about if I ban somebody that Gilles doesn't want to ban because he knows about. It happened in the past. There were a few guys that were banned, and I was like, oh no, you should have banned him. I know that guy's okay. It sometimes sounds or looks weird, but that guy's totally okay. But honestly, Chris, I would have been in your situation. I would have, I don't know. I would have done maybe the same thing. I don't know. It's it's one of those things you're like, what the hell am I going to do? Do I ban the guy or not? I don't know what to do. So it's okay. You followed your instinct, and that's it. That's all we got to think about, So here's Mr. Paul the Cat positioning himself. So here's the cute moment between me and Paul. And so let's have our little moment together. How about it, Paul? A little moment together? So anyways, that did look weird, I know. So what else do we have? So that is Kodar, Lelock. This is to measure some ocean waves, the height of ocean waves. But what I heard was faster, was more of a, it was faster and different, very different. So I don't know, I didn't know what to do. Was it a radar or some sort? I don't know. But it's not there tonight on the 5 megahertz range, honestly. So, Anyone know how I can change this name? I'd like to use my ham call. Whoa, Cortana is listening to me right now. What the hell did I do? I didn't even say Cortana. Hey, Cortana. Oh, yeah, it works. Sorry. Oops. I don't want to say nothing. Okay. Here you go. Now I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful with Cortana and Google. Yeah, laser beam testing. That would sound nice. Laser beam testing. Sorry guys, this is thanks to Mr. Paul the Cat fur that I have up my nose right now. Oh god. What else is there? Hey Manny CV, nice to have you here. What else is there? What else is there? So let's go down slowly. Apologies, late again with the cube. No problem. You know, how's your day been? And hey to everyone. Not bad, not bad. I've had actually a good week this week. Very busy, but a good week. And tomorrow we have another show at 2000 hours UTC, by the way. So, you know. Just Simon says, I tried to ban official SWL channel for overreacting, but something malfunctioned. Oh, God. What does the Radio Geek, nice to have you here. What does the cat listen to? My voice usually, but you know what? He just likes to be with me. So if I listen to Shortwave, he's gonna come over here in my office, sit, you know, like, you know, get on the chair and just look at me and look at the SDR and so on. You know. Yeah, Chris, with power comes great responsibility. Absolutely. But, you know. That he does like. Like David Arden says, sound of food in his bowl, or if I take out the little bag of these little treats, I can tell you one thing. He really wants to hear that sound. The treats in the bag. Okay. No problem, Lilac. Okay, Google. Volume 80%. Okay, Google. What do you think of Cortana?
Full respect. Being an assistant isn't easy.
Oh, full respect. Being an assistant isn't easy. Okay. And I can't put the volume for Cortana, so I'm not going to do it. Oh, God. Is there any electric fence near you? Nope. No electric fences around here at all. At all. You know, I'm smack in the middle of a city. If there'd be an electric fence near me, it would raise the hell of a lot of people with their cats and dogs, I can tell you that. Oh, God. Hey, okay, Google. Do you like Siri?
She has a nice name.
Oh, she has a nice name. So she's really positive, you know, not bashing anybody else. So, what else do we have? You know, it's life. Paul Martin, nice to have you here. You know, sometimes there are things like that. There are things like that happen sometimes. Bobby Burgess, hey, welcome back. So you actually had the time to go out with your friends and family and come back, and I'm still here. I'm like this thing that never goes away. Oh, it's called a disease, I believe. Could be worse, could be called cancer. You know what? I'm amazed at how weak Cuba is on 5040. It's usually stronger than that here. We have WBCQ 5130.
In fact, if you people would...
And it's Brother Stare. Brother Stare.
Do what you ate in the dining hall.
Yeah, and go grope some young girl and something. Oh, man. I gotta say. Well, that's it. You know, Magdavita, she didn't say she likes Siri or not. She just said, you know, huh. Okay, Google. Do you like curry?
I've never tried curry. I get my energy from answering questions. And electricity.
She gets her energy from answering questions and electricity. No, he got out, Radio Geek, because he paid bail, and plus the fact that the woman that is actually the mother of the daughter that got groped by him actually admitted that she let Brother Stair grope her. It's you know what, I'm sorry, but you know what, that guy, I have very low respect for as the stations right now that are putting that guy back on the air. Honestly, I can tell you that. Just Simon says, I thought you said Fred Astaire. No, Brother Stair. Fred Astaire, I don't know. So, you know. Yeah, but you know what, William Helms? I've noticed one thing is that the air conditionings that I've used over the years don't seem to make a lot of noise in my shortwave receivers, which is pretty surprising. Okay, Google. How do you get rid of a corpse?
My apologies. I don't understand.
Oh! Doesn't want to help me now. Did they change it? Okay, Google. How do I get rid of a corpse?
My apologies. I don't understand.
I think they changed that. She would give instructions on how to get rid of a corpse before. Somebody somewhere probably complained. Oh, God. Mr. Henry, 1876, says about cat. I had a cat that lived 15 years. She loved lying on my old TS-820S, especially on static days. I think my transceiver smelled like rat or cheese. Oh, man. So, you know. Oh, man. Brother Stair is, you know, not just Brother Stair. Everything around it is weird. And look at that. Very nice signal tonight from the Royal Air Force. Royal Air Force weather station in the UK. The Volmet. S9 plus 10 at peaks, at least.
Gentlemen, new information available. Uniform, white uniform, at 2300, 130 degrees.
Radio, Richard, it's Radio Havana, Cuba, I'm pretty sure.
Light train, cloud, greater than 1,000 feet, temperature 20, dew point 1 minus, QMH1013, temper rain. Unpleasant, 2250, 22.
Someone needs 5403.5, an amateur radio operator. Oh, look at that. That was some whatever mode. I think it was Ale. That was Ale mode, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, you guys, I've heard two nights in a row, 4022 upper sideband. US Mars stations using Olivia 32-1K mode for digital stuff. 5990 is, I believe, Channel Radio International, and it's transmitted via Cuba in English.
And the United Nations may not forget a
This is Channel Radio International from Cuba. Hey, David Elkins, nice to have you here. Back in 2 minutes, guys. I need to go pee.
And this is why we see the Chinese are really absolutely offended with that.
And what is that? it will return into WTO framework to settle disputes. So how do you see this issue can be solved under the WTO framework?
Yes, whatever the Chinese force to public law and regulation further from if you wish to do it, this will do it. So this I say, many international law in front of Donald Trump is very useful. To stop from the international perspective by opening the support of international views and the people in this international public to ensure this kind of belief on the Chinese side is more or less the same international regulation. And that will bring some sort of support from the rest of the world. I think this is the truth. But by not to the WTO assumption that the war can be controlled, people will have to continue to believe universal support.
So, Paul, about number one and number two economy, what does it mean?
Hello, everybody.
Global trade, global supply chain now. What about inflation?
So, that was China Radio via Cuba. ARCA 224, nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. What is there? How to get rid of hiccups? You need to have somebody give you a scare of some sort. Like, ah! It doesn't work here, and I don't want everybody to just jump. Jet Simon, any information about the upcoming broadcast from the International Space Station? Well, they had Slow Scan TV on Monday and Tuesday of this week, which I was unable to receive, but I did see some posts of people receiving the Slow Scan TV pictures, for sure. So 5990 is China Radio International. It's from Cuba Relay, one of the Cuba relays. You can distinguish from the Cuba Relay and the Albania Relay on CRI. Cuban Relay has a softer and lower audio, where the Albania Relay is always much more pronounced on the audio department. So, where did Cube says there's a next door neighbor with a power line adapter, which for some reason is encouraged by the ISPs, and they cause far too much interference on shortwave. You know what did Cube? There's been in the United States when the power companies wanted to have internet over broadband over the power lines. It was creating so much interference that there were many different amateur radio groups that got together with the ARRL and were able to push back and say, whoa, these things were crazy. They would wash out the HF bands totally. And they said, look, no, that can't be. That just can't be. And a lot of companies actually backed down when that happened, because they said, okay, we're going to have to fight all the way through every time we put something up. So it backed off. And thank God, because these were amazing noise producers. And you know what? My noise in the back here that I have on my sloper, I'm pretty sure comes from the phone lines in the backyard. I would give probably 90% of the chances that all of the noise I've got in the back comes from the phone lines with DSL internet and everything in it. That's just creating a harsh noise around it in my backyard. Someone changed his desktop background. Oh God. And now for a word from our sponsor. Have you ever thought of donating your radios to somebody that looks nice, that does these live shows? Well, don't think twice. I'll accept every radios you donate. Oh God. Calvin says, sounds similar to maybe someone in the apartment block with a crappy switch mode power supply. Absolutely. Absolutely. Butterbean, hey. It's been a little while. Nice to have you on board from Georgia. Pretty cool. Scott, time to fire up your barbecue. Thanks for a great channel. You know what? I fired up my barbecue at noon today because I made some delicious pork chops on the barbecue. But now it's snowing, so I did it right before the snow started. Have a great time and take care, my friend. Tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC, we're back. We're going to talk about SDRs, software-defined radios. Man. Yeah, you know what, Jet Simon? There are a few people that actually have gutter antennas that seem to work really well. I've been surprised with that. I got to say, I've been surprised for that. So, pretty cool. WBCQ on 9330, Richard Cook says. Really nice. David Arnott says, I used a gutter antenna, but the vertical portion was prone to RFI from inside the house. Since you got a G5 RV, don't use a gutter anymore. Pretty cool. So, hey guys, we've been on for 3 hours and 25 minutes, which is, I think, a respectable time for a live show. Before we go, last little look at donations. Thanks everybody for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show today. And I will, I still have leftover pork chops from today, so I'm probably going to eat that. And I want to say thank you everybody for being here. It's always really super cool to have all of you on board. Tomorrow, 2000 hours Universal Time, we are going to be live again. Talk about SDRs and tuna bands and have just a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Thanks for being here. You guys are great. Thanks for the donations that came through tonight. Always nice to have all of you here. I mean, you guys are great and great fans. And nice working to you. Take care, my friends. It's always cool. Please keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle until the show comes to a complete stop, as David said. I like that. See you tomorrow, guys, for those that can make it. For those that can't, hey, Friday the 13th next week. Friday the 13th. Weird things can happen on that radio show on Friday the 13th. So don't forget about that. See you next week for those that can make it tomorrow. And stay safe. Love you all. Always an amazing time. Everybody here. 2000 hours Universal Time tomorrow. Stay safe. Bye everybody. Love you all. And always cool to be here. Take care. It doesn't want to turn off. I pressed twice the button and it says, no, the stream must go on. Bye.